Where is it? Um, Open. Okay. To fix that. Morning, Yami. Good morning, Kilo. Jed, Eli, good morning. All right. I fixed that. I think so. We're gonna see if I fixed all this stuff after fucking with it last night. Hopefully. Hopefully we did. First. Ring raid? Mia ring raid? Is this how you're proposing? Is this how she's proposing to me? Yes, I accept. If you're proposing, yes, I do. I do. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. Yes, it is. The fact that I knew is insanity. I was like, yeah, no, she's totally proposing to me. Divorce hubby and see, the thing is, we're not legally married. So the thing is, you've been awake 2 seconds. You've been awake 2 seconds. You're not even loading in. Okay. Music. I don't. It's fine. We're gonna. Music time. Well, actually, is our Baron here yet? No, because then you're gonna get mad. Can't say your actual. W's to Dan for the 77 cents in honor of Uzi Garcia's birthday. We are honoring conmigo. His petition to the gods has been denied. So W's to Dan, please. So we all remember Uzi today. Okay? Love for Uzi today. Thank you, Dan. I have to do the math on that. Why would you do that to me? 14923. Okay. Music. I don't know if our Baron is here or not, but as requested, hopefully there's no issues. I don't know if you guys can hear it now. Can you guys hear that? That's the only thing. We might have fucked that up. We can. Okay, you can. But they can't. Cool. Okay. Cool. I'm fluent in Spanish and Selena. Good. Twitch and YouTube, you're not supposed to be able to hear this. So you're fine. As we come in, just do all the good things you guys know you're supposed to do. This is not a good song to be seated in. I want to dance. Oh, I didn't turn on my Tickfinity. That would help for you guys. There we go. Right? Right, Lynette? Clear chairs. Crazy. When did Manny get here? Timmy, who said I support Democrats? I support progressive policy. Thank you. Shaking corgi butt. Is he? I heard Selena sprinting. Is he running? I- Oh, I'm gonna have to. Okay, it was just late. It did it. It was just late. Okay. I am a thespian, Stanley. Yes. Okay. Good morning to everybody. No matter what woke time zone you're in, I appreciate you guys being here this morning. It's Thursday. We're getting so very close to the weekend. We love that. Yay. What was I going to say? All the things. If if you're watching on TikTok, can you start tapping that screen for me, please? We like to hit 300,000 likes before we hit the end of my 3 hours from 9 a.m. Mountain Time until noon Mountain Time. So we like to do that. I haven't looked at it yet, Tasty Cake. I did see the headline, but I haven't read about it yet. I was gonna read about it tonight so that I could have it probably for tomorrow. Because I saw the headline, but I haven't looked into the case. But if she committed fucking fraud, then yeah, arrest that bitch. Unfortunately for you, Tasty Cake, you're still muted and you gotta go. So yeah, you guys keep tapping that screen. I would appreciate it. Damn it, I didn't watch those fucking videos Kayla sent me either. Yesterday was a long day. Kayla, I can message you about why. But it was a long day. So let's tap that screen, make sure we're doing all the good things. Repost now before I start playing videos and shit, because we know how TikTok be. As soon as I start playing videos or showing articles, they get weird about the repost. So repost now. Add it to your story, share it to like 5 of your friends. Let's get this live out there on the algorithm. That would be amazing. I would appreciate it so much. Thank you. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. Gives you access to stickers in the chat, so I'd appreciate it if you did your daily heart me. Also, up there you have my gift gallery up there. I think we got the whale accomplished yesterday, which thank you so much, Mike, for the whale diving. But we have the meteor shower and the flying jets left. Of course, yes, the most expensive of the gifts, but I would appreciate it if we could get those accomplished. That would be amazing. You guys just did the roses, so I'm gonna find they messed up my order. Oh, look, Biden's ice cream cone. Let's do that one. So that we can keep pushing ourselves on the algorithm with the taps and with the gifts. Thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button for me. It just helps push us out onto the algorithm over there on YouTube. I do have a call number that I will open up here after I get through my little spiel. I do look to have conversations. Can you block him here too? Who? I do look to have conversations based off of factually based evidence and not your fifis. If you make a claim, I'm going to ask you to source it. I would prefer that you bring up something so that I can not just read from it, tell me where it's coming from so we can bring it on the screen together so my community can see it. Maybe we can learn from you. Maybe. A lot of times that doesn't happen, but hitting that thumbs up does help do that. You can subscribe, you can become a member, you can send jewels, and you can send super chats over there on YouTube. If you really have something you would like me to read and the chat's going by too fast, sending a super chat ensures that I read it, whether it's a hate message or a message of support or something you really want to get out to MAGA. It's just very helpful, so thank you. I'd appreciate that. If you're watching on Twitch, hello and good morning to all of you. I appreciate you being here. If you're not following me, please do so. You can also subscribe over there, and remember, if you pay for Prime, Jeff Bezos gives you 1 free Prime sub a month. Why not use it on me? Gives you access to emotes in the chat that are similar to the stickers that I have over here on TikTok, and you can also send bits over there. And guys, I have my goal that I have every single day. Thank you to Dan for the 77 cents in remembrance of Uzi today, that we are down to 14923. We crowdfund for women's labor to pay for women's labor on this app. We should be paying for women's labor. So let's Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link tree in my bio that we can do a dollar train, $2 train, $5 train to get that accomplished in the 3 hours that I am live. All right, I have to set a new goal. Thank you, Shauna. They took away my organized gifts, and I'm very sad about it. I'm going to have to write them a strongly worded letter again. That's what's going to happen, because they took away my fancy little gifts in order thing that I had going, and it makes me mad. All right. Getting us started today, shall we? We're gonna get to breaking news first. I guess that's the section I call it, to be fair. It's not necessarily like breaking news. What is that? Oh, what's today? What's that from? Okay, sorry. I'm trying to figure out what's that from. That's what is that? Sorry, hold on. I need to check my email real quick so I'm not confused. Um, yeah, that one would be in this one. From. Okay, that's what that's from. That's what I thought, but I was very confused because I haven't gotten that in like a month or so. Okay, as everybody I'm sure has heard, I was literally in a dentist appointment with my daughter during this time, so I didn't see it until I came out. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to step down. Another woman, shocker. They created a false. So when women are trying to get above in this male-dominated workspace, we call it the glass ceiling, trying to break the glass ceiling. What Donald Trump has done with his administration is set up a glass cliff. So it looks like, look it, I have hired all these women. I'm such a good guy. And sets them up for failure on purpose so that he can fire them. What are we at now with glass cliff is steep? Yeah. What you had? How many now? Because you had Kristi Noem, Tulsi Gabbard left. Who else? There's like another one. 5? Has there been 5? Jeez. 4? So, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt will leave the administration at the end of the month after having served in the role since the beginning of President Donald Trump's second term. Pam Bondi. Okay, Pam. Pam went to go to the private sector. It was her choice. She got to go to the. Trump announced Wednesday that Leavitt, 28, the youngest White House press secretary in history, is set to step down to spend more time with her beautiful young children and family. Caroline will now be one of my top outside advisors and an influential voice within the Republican Party as we work to defy history and conclusively win the midterms, Trump wrote on Truth Social. Now, the thing I will say is there's nothing wrong. That would be feminism. It's her choice not to work. If she is choosing to go spend time with her family, good for her. She's completely allowed to do that. That is what feminism brings you, is that choice. As a stay-at-home mom, I say that. I made that choice. The only reason the labor secretary left. Yep, that was the one. That was the one. And her husband's in some shit. Anyway, I question it only because she just came back from maternity leave because she just had a baby. Congratulations to her. She just had a baby, and she was on maternity leave. Good for her. Glad she gets that, while the majority of Americans in the United States, majority of people in the United States don't get maternal or paternal leave. Love that for us. But she did. And then she came back, for a couple weeks, a month, maybe? And now she's leaving. That's a little fishy to me. That's a little weird. Because you would have just decided, hey, I want to spend more time with my family and not come back. I don't see where you made that decision all of a sudden that you wanted to come back, but sure. Leavitt, who gave birth to her second child in May, making her the first White House press secretary to have a child while serving in the role, confirmed her departure in a statement on X. She said being called press secretary has been the honor and adventure of a lifetime, adding that since she had her second child, she felt in my heart that I cannot be the best mom my 2 young children deserve while devoting the constant time, energy, and attention required of the White House press secretary. Leavitt returned to the podium from maternity leave on July 16th. So yeah, she's not even a month. She hasn't even been back a month. I'm thankful to the president for entrusting me with the distinct privilege of speaking on his behalf at the White House podium, said Leavitt, who is one of only 8 women to have served in the role. Neither Trump nor Leavitt indicated in their social media posts who might succeed her. During her maternity leave, the White House did not name an interim press secretary, opting instead to have various administration officials brief the news media. They included Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. You also had Dr. Oz at one point, which is... that was a fun time. We had fun with that. I know, at least, okay, maybe I'll take away, wait. I had fun with that because you would have Dr. Oz come up to do the job of the press secretary, since they were just rotating them around playing fucking popcorn in class with who was going to come do it. And I don't think he understood the concept that he was supposed to be answering questions for what the administration is doing broadly, because that's their job. He was like, well, I'm just here to talk about CMS. I'm just here to talk about fraud within CMS. And it's like, that's how he would answer. And we're like, no, because you're in a different role today. Marco Rubio, as we know, is sitting on the couch wearing a blonde wig because that is now his next step to add on to all of the roles that he already has. But anyway, Caroline Leavitt left. Is leaving at the end of the month. Sure. Okay. I had not covered this. The only thing I am going to cover on it is this reporting that CNN does on it, but I do also have an article to add to the live outline for you guys in regards to what is going on, the rumblings about what is happening aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, as the conditions are so bad that sailors are now trying to go overboard, jump overboard to get away from what's going on. So I will have that in the live outline, but we are going to go through with CNN reporting because Aaron Burnett has on the journalist who broke the story with the Military Times, which is that's the news organization that she broke the story with. So
Tonight, a shocking new report that multiple sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln have tried to jump overboard amid poor conditions and mental stress on the ship. This is according to new reporting from the Military Times, which spoke to the wife of one of those sailors, who says she's spoken to her husband only a handful of times since he tried to jump. He is now on a medical hold. The Military Times is also reporting severe food shortages on board and that sailors are running out of just basic needs: toothpaste, deodorant, soap. This crew has been at sea for 9 months amid Trump's war in Iran. That includes 250 consecutive days without setting foot on land. 250 consecutive days. That is a record. Out front.
um Belzer, you got your DM suspended for what you said to my husband. I love that the day that you were in here, just like today, you're unwilling to come up and have a conversation with me based off of factual evidence about Trump. Because we can talk about Trump. That's what I do. I talk about politics. Instead, you were such a fucking coward to speak to the woman. That's not the right guy. That is the right guy. That's him, babe. Yes, it is. Balzer? Yes, it fucking is. Unless he created a new account. Or that's a different Balzer. Why do you guys fucking create the same name? He can come up too. Come up and have a conversation then. There was a guy named Balzer who reached out to my husband instead of me. Can anybody guess what he spoke to my husband about? Well, why are they all cowards? That would be my question. Why are they all cowards? They're all such cowards. Nothing to talk about. Me, yeah, but what about me, Chicky?
Now, Natalie Olivero.
No, it was a couple days ago.
She is the Military Times journalist who broke the story, and she is also a Navy
Yeah, John. Non-consent. Yeah.
veteran. Natalie, I appreciate your time. I mean, the details you have in this story are really stunning. I mean, my jaw drops. You know, we're talking about the USS Abraham Lincoln, and you're talking about things that I think people struggle to understand are happening in the U.S. military. You've spoken directly with some
Oh, it was Danny. I don't care. They all blur together to me. They're all the same person at this point.
of these families, and you're reporting on incidents
Was
involving
Danny.
sailors apparently trying to jump overboard. You spoke to the wife of one of them, I know, and her husband served in the Navy for more than a dozen years, 13 years. So, what have you learned?
Thanks.
Wise guy, what's fake news? What I'm showing? That they're reporting that the conditions on the USS Abraham Lincoln are so bad when they've been out there for 250 days, that they want to jump ship now? They don't need to be there.
For having me, Erin, and for covering this story. Speaking with Miss Saloma, she is extremely worried and concerned about how her husband is actually doing. And until she can be in front of him and see him with her own eyes, she's not really going to be able to answer that question. And facing the stresses that every military spouse faces when theirs is deployed, as being a solo parent at home with 3 little kids. So not being able to have answers or direction is really challenging right now for her, especially.
So, look, these incidents are very disturbing. I mean, what would drive someone to be at a point where they would be willing to do that obviously is distressing to consider. But the families of sailors aboard the Lincoln are telling you about incidents like this. They're also telling you about some of these other truly stunning details, that the sailors are often hungry because there isn't enough food, that basic supplies, toothpaste, deodorant aren't easy to get. Now, back in April, and this has been going on a long time. We talk about this ship 250 days in a row without setting foot on land, a record. So this has been going on a long time. In April, Secretary Hegseth, dismissed reports about inadequate food.
No, so here's the thing. It is the job. I agree, Balzer. It's the job that they signed up for to get deployed per whatever, mission that is decided from the people above them. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. But I want to ensure that my taxpayer dollars are funding them to not feel like they're in fucking survival mode on a ship that's just meant to be forming a perimeter right now. They're not actively engaged. So exactly. They didn't sign up to starve. We're supposed to be feeding them. They're supposed to have they should be able to have access to clean hygiene to the best of the ability. They shouldn't be feeling such a way that they want to jump ship far from home. That is our duty. They need to be able to go to, like Vincent said, do port calls and get food. They're not having that capability right now.
He said it was fake news. So what's the reaction to from the families that you're speaking to? They don't get to talk to their loved ones on board that ship that often. What's their reaction when the defense secretary calls this all fake news?
Confusion, hurt.
Well, wise guys, show me reporting that says that they don't feel this way then, because that's not the reporting that we're getting. You can't just say, well, Pete Hegseth said it. I don't really give a fuck what he says. We know he lies. So give me reporting that says that they're doing well, because that's not what we're getting. We're getting actually, I'll pull it up while we're sitting here.
Lack of understanding. They're constantly seeking some kind of reassurance or information. There's a lot of conflicting reports, a lot of different information, especially on social media within different groups and small community pages. Those are the pages where organic conversations and relationships exist. Those aren't deep fakes or AI dupes being created. These are where families go to communicate. This is a lifeline for families who really never receive an instruction manual on how to handle your time when your loved one is deployed. So families are feeling left in the dark, and all families are agreeing that it is absolutely unacceptable and unthinkable to imagine.
Well, it's unthinkable, I think, for any American to hear this reporting, frankly, and deeply disturbing to imagine that sailors who are serving this country, going 250 days without setting foot on land, 9-month deployment, would have food shortages or any.
Wise guy, where's the common sense to this? You guys say that. You guys just throw things out. You guys just say fucking words. Where's the common sense in this?
It's upsetting. So we reached out to the Navy, Natalie, about your report, and they responded in a statement, and they said, quote, "We have not observed an increase in suicidal ideations or attempts aboard the ship. We're not experiencing an uptick in mental health issues aboard Abraham Lincoln." I just wanted to give you a chance to respond to that.
My first question to that is an increase from what baseline? No increase from when? What is that measurement?
That is all you do, publishing fake news? Okay, so you're not going to answer me about common sense. I am asking for investigation into this stuff being reported. That's all I'm doing, wise guy. I am asking them to investigate this. If we are getting this from their loved ones, that it's coming from them, we need to have an investigation about what's going on that ship. That's all I'm asking for. Why is that too much?
Window look like? We did request deck logs and multiple FOIAs from the Navy, so hopefully we'll get.
I didn't say that, Balzer. I didn't say that we don't resupply the ships. I'm saying that there's an issue that needs to be looked into because it's being reported that there's an issue. That's all. You guys live in this binary of black and white. It's either all amazing or it's all bad. I'm saying there's obviously something going on, or else why is it being reported? And I want it investigated.
Those back and can review them.
You were there. You were on the USS Abraham Lincoln, wise guy. You were there.
All we have is our firsthand reporting and accounts from these family members who are.
He was there, though. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
36, voted for Kamala Harris.
And in what state?
Minnesota.
Okay. Why'd you call today?
I don't know. I saw the number. I didn't really understand the argument you were having.
I'm talking to people in the chat about what's going on in on the USS Abraham Lincoln, or at least what's being reported on the USS Abraham Lincoln. So.
Oh, well, we can talk about that. I'm a Navy veteran. I have a buddy on the Lincoln. I've been out of the service for a while, but I hear the conditions are pretty deplorable.
Right, and that's all I'm doing is I'm reporting on what they're saying is happening, and I said I just want an investigation into it, but apparently Trump supporters seem to think that it's all fine, and I'm saying, well, if we're getting reporting that something's not fine, I just want to make sure that it is fine, because those are our men and women in the service who put their lives on the line for us, so I want to make sure they're properly fed.
Yeah, I was a 8404 corpsman in the Navy. I deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq. Saw a lot of my friends die, and a lot more of them after we came home to suicide.
Yeah.
It's not an unheard of issue. There's some statistic like a veteran ends his life or her life every 20 minutes in this country.
Yeah, and if
And
they've been out at sea for 250 days, which is longer than any that we deployment on the ship, not touching dry land, for that amount of time. So that's definitely an issue that we need to look into, what that does to their mental health. I think you and I mostly agree on things, and so I do appreciate you, and I appreciate your service. Thank you for serving this country, and protecting our freedoms, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, I don't think I'm the right caller for this show, but I'll keep watching.
Well, thank you so much.
Have a good day, ma'am.
You as well. Okay, continuing on. She has like 3 more seconds of what she says, and then
experiencing this and living it day after day.
Tonight,
like that's the thing, is they're out there longer than we've ever had. There are going to be effects of that. Okay, so let me bring this up. Now, have your feelings about Aaron Parnas. I have feelings about Aaron Parnas. This is reporting we're getting from him. Again, hey, I would like to see an outside verified source on this, but these are alleged text messages that he received from one service member aboard the USS speaking to his wife. They asked, why isn't there milk? So the supply ship that comes here can't bring fruits and stuff because it can't stay fresh long enough with the time it gets them to get there. Wow. Any idea who's supposed to come relieve you guys in August? So we haven't had anything fresh but meat because it's freezed. Sometimes it gets here rotten. Repulsive. Yeah, families are just as frustrated as the people in the boat. This deployment is the worst one, and I pray no other boat goes through the same. Even people that have been deployed 100 times claim this one to be the worst and believe it can get worse than this. The Navy does not care. The mission will always come first. I was talking to some random dude at the smoke pit, and he was saying it's an experiment the government is doing to see how far they can push sailors' limits of being out to sea with the worst experience. I don't know anymore. I know my family needs me, and the Navy is not being fair right now, taking me away far longer than expected. Worst part, my expectations were already at an all-time low. But as per usual, the Navy beat those two by going lower than hell, so there's that. Now, again, don't know if these are outside corroborated, and I would like to see them, so I'm not reporting on them as if they are. I'm just saying that I want investigation. Why aren't you guys on that side to be like, hey, yeah, obviously it's getting reported by multiple sources that something's going on. Let's find out what's going on. That's all I'm asking for. Find out what's going on. W's to Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous, for the 379 math train. Thank you for the math train. I did the math while we watched the video. I cheated. So you didn't have to see it. So it brings us down to 145.44 as we keep going, guys. We are on our way to 50,000 likes at 9:30. Don't let yourselves fall behind over here on TikTok. Make sure you're tapping that screen and keeping us going. If you're watching on YouTube and you have not hit that thumbs up button, please hit that thumbs up button for me. I would appreciate it so very much. Okay. Yep, we're gonna do this. Oh, my eye is watering. I think I got something in it last night and I was itching it. You know, I'm trying to leave it alone, but it's a whole thing. All right, we're gonna move to health again. I hate it here. I don't want to do this because I don't want to keep talking about this, but I have to keep fucking talking about this because you guys don't stop. So after that EO, which we covered the EO itself on vaccines. And again, it doesn't do anything. It's a recommendation for the CDC to change, but send some info in the supply. Oh, what? Thank you, Vincent. Let me see. Part of the reason they can't supply is because Iran has been keeping the Bahrain base under consistent heavy fire. That makes sense. There's an article from February about it as well. The base in Bahrain is the Navy support base. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, but like I said, all I'm asking for is an investigation into what's going on. And again, if it's Trump and this goddamn war, sounds like it makes sense. But anyway, he did this EO, and remember we talked about the EO in general. EOs are not enforceable for the most part. You can try to do it within the government. That's where it would be enforceable, right? Like when he got rid of paper straws, he just got rid of them for federal buildings. It didn't mean shit to the rest of the nation. In regards to the EO, it was a recommendation to change the childhood vaccine schedule. Doesn't mean that the CDC is going to do it, and we're actually going to see the acting director of the CDC kind of back off from that shit anyway. So it's probably not going to go anywhere. Again, you cannot get MMR separated because there is nowhere in the world where the MMR is separated that is, and specifically here in the United States where it's FDA approved. So you're not going to be able to do that either. All you are doing is suppressing parents and discouraging them from vaccinating their kids in general. But you had, we watched one of the doctors that was on CNN speaking. This one is Dr. Offit. He's the director of the Vaccine Education Center. And this is him talking about vaccines. So we're going to do health again. Now, I have a little bit more on health that's not just vaccines, but we're going to get through this first portion, a little bit about the EO first.
There are many known causes of autism. So it's at least genetic. I mean, 80% of autism is genetic.
Sarowski! You've been hiding in a food truck? Well, I'm glad that you're safe.
Based on sort of twin studies, fraternal or identical twins, and cousin studies. You know that there are certain drugs that a mother can take during pregnancy that can increase the risk of autism. Tylenol is not one of them. You know that there are certain infections during pregnancy that increase the risk of autism. You know that the age of the parents at the time of conception increases the risk of autism, especially paternal age. The older the father, the more likely that the child would have autism. And you know that that there are the microbiome, which is sort of those intestinal bacteria that colonize the intestine when the child is born, also increases the risk of autism. So there's a lot of interesting leads in autism. Vaccines isn't one of those leads. I mean, this is the best studied environmental factor, and it's not vaccines. And what upsets me the most about this is that anti-vaccine activists like Robert F. Kennedy or science denialists like President Trump basically have taken the autism story hostage, much to the detriment of children with autism, because there is much research that can be done that can educate us about this. I think that were I a parent of a child with autism, I would really be tired of talking about vaccines at this point because we have so much data.
We do. There's not data in the direction that Trump wants it to be or that RFK Jr. wants it to be. And that's just the way it is. So then we move on to another. We go to the president of the American Academy of Pediatrics, excuse me. I feel like I need to watch Land Before Time now. The president of the American Academy of Pediatrics talking about how, he puts it nicely. I'll just let him say it. He puts it nicely. It's not as nice as I would put it.
When President Trump says nothing's bad is going to happen because of this,
Yeah.
is anything bad going to happen?
Well, I'll tell you the way I look at this.
Yeah.
I look at it from the point of view of a parent who's going to be walking into a pediatrician's office tomorrow. What do they need to know? And what they need to know is several things, but the most important thing they need to know is that nothing has changed.
Right.
The science behind vaccines is the same today as it was yesterday. The security that we have with vaccine safety has not changed. The risks that the children in this country face for vaccine-preventable diseases has not changed. The composition of the children of this country has not changed in the past 48 hours. And there are a couple of other things that haven't changed. The feeling that a parent has when they come home with that newborn baby, and I know that you've experienced this, that kind of anxiety, but at the same time, that excitement. You know, this is this thing that's coming in and all of a sudden is handed to you, you're in charge.
Yeah, I can't believe they just let you take them home. I'm not gonna lie. I've had 2 of them. And even so, you're so desperate, especially with my children. My first child, I've talked about this before, but my first child had a full resuscitation after birth. And she was in the NICU for like 9 days. I wanted her to come home. God, I wanted her to come home. And then she finally did. And I was like, oh my God, they let me come home with a human. Oh my God, they let me come home with a human. So you have a lot of anxiety as a parent, and what you feel as a parent is you want to be able to trust the institutions that are telling you the things that your child needs based off of factual information.
And then then you add on to the amount of times you are checked in on, the baby is checked in on while you're still at the hospital. And then they're like, okay, off by yourself now. And you're just like, excuse me, like,
What?
do you come with? Will you like come back every 3 hours? And it's just like, then you're left to do anything and everything unless you have a supportive partner, but then but you have a thing that's there. And that's coming from when I became a mom at fucking 16.
Right.
And that's coming from as when I got to 8.5 years later, I brought home another baby. And I was like, y'all let me just leave with, okay.
Right. So you want to be able to trust the institutions that are telling you, and your pediatrician that's brand new to you who's telling you that these are the things that they recommend for your child based off of factually based information. And right now you have that competing with a government telling you it's not. That's very, very confusing for parents, especially first-time parents. It's very confusing. Also, just a little shout out because I just like to. My children's doctor has been their doctor since birth. So we are at year 10 now that they've had the same doctor since birth. Love that for us. Their pediatrician is great.
The other part is I think it's either the first 2 weeks or the first month and a half to 2 months where they legitimately tell you do not take your newborns around anyone.
Yeah.
Because for instance, and that's because they need these certain vaccines. But the people that are against vaccines are the same ones that are like, yeah, come on over. Even though this thing is fresh out the cage, go ahead and kiss my baby everywhere. And then next thing you know, you have babies that now have freaking herpes for the rest of their life. I know that's not a vaccine, but I'm saying
Right.
it's a matter of the lack of care or the lack of wanting to understand. There is a science behind vaccines, but you are willing to trust these people that you don't even know if they wash their fucking hands before coming and over to your house to touch a child, a newborn baby. So let's be rational here.
Hotspot, MMR did not give them herpes. That's stupid.
There's no auto reset on it. There's no instruction manual. That fear and that anxiety is going to still be there. And when you have people in the United States in positions of authority that are feeding into confusion and fear, that is doing no service to those parents. And then the final thing that hasn't changed is that when those parents walk into that pediatrician's office, they know they are in the presence of the best partner they could possibly have to raise those children in a way that's going to be safe and that's going to be effective for their health.
Yeah.
And that partnership, which is what every new parent depends on, is what's going to get us through this.
And hopefully it will. I know, talking to my pediatrician over the years, there have been times where people have been afraid and they've started to pull back in vaccinations. Certain populations more than others, but it has happened. And obviously there are tangible repercussions to that. So when you hear the President of the United States, whether you think he knows anything about science or not, when you hear someone sit in that chair and say what I'm about to play, it can have an impact on people. Even if they don't think it is, it can just, to your point about that fear and anxiety that you also have as a new parent, it just feeds into that. Why take a risk? Let me just play what he said again.
Sure.
I think I heard you say that the MMR vaccine for measles, mumps, and rubella is quite lethal. Is there any evidence of that? Because anyone in the room?
What I've heard is that there are some people that say it is that way. I've heard when you put them together, they can be explosive.
Some people that say it is that way.
I'll say this. I think the President of the United States on this particular issue is misinformed.
That's very nice of him to say misinformed. I wouldn't say misinformed. I'd say he's stupid. That's what I would say.
We'll say that there are some things that he said that I agree with. He said the polio vaccine is amazing.
True.
He's right. The polio vaccine is amazing.
Dr. Peter
So is
Hotez
the
today
hepa-
said he's worried that polio could come back because if people become so scared of vaccines. I mean, do you have fears of things like that?
We do. But not only is the polio vaccine amazing, the hepatitis B vaccine is amazing. It prevents cancer. The HPV vaccine.
Hepatitis B was just taken off the list.
I know. What I'm saying is that he's right about the polio vaccine. He needs to realize that every other one of those vaccines on that schedule is just as amazing as the polio vaccine.
So what have I showed that chart, 9 billion years of human life gained, okay? Because of just the most simple thing, vaccines, right? That children would die. Why was child mortality so high? Well, a big reason was dying of preventable diseases, preventable because of vaccines. We are so lucky now. People can have fewer children because they expect them to live.
I agree with that.
And what a miracle that is. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy was an anti-vaccine activist for many years.
I don't like how she says was, though, as if it's past tense, as if he's not still that way. Like, he is absolutely still that person. He's kind of trying to walk it back, but he's still that person. That hasn't changed.
Particular with this link to autism. Have you noticed changes? Are you hearing about changes that pediatricians are saying that they've seen in terms of parents' receptiveness to vaccines since he became HHS Secretary?
No, Bearded, I never said that. I literally started this segment by saying that his EO is a recommendation that actually doesn't mean shit. What I said, though, the danger of that recommendation is parents listening to it, finding out that they can't get MMR in separated doses because it's not FDA approved to do so, and just choosing not to vaccinate. That's what I said the danger was. I was very, very clear on my language with that.
Well, I'll say this. I think that the issue of vaccine skepticism is older than this administration, and it has been going on for some time, not least because of some of the contributions that the current secretary has made to that debate over time. And I will say also that we hear from pediatricians around the country that the amount of time that they are spending with new parents, talking about vaccines, the availability of them, and the advisability of getting them, the numbers of those kinds of conversations that we're having has increased. But I will tell you this also. There is nothing that a pediatrician likes better than to answer questions that parents come into their exam room with. This is why we get up in the morning, and this is what keeps us up at night. Speaking with parents about what we know can keep their children safe and healthy. That's what we do.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it, and thank you very much for taking the time to come and explain some of this.
Thank you for actually having this segment. It's extremely important that you're doing this. I congratulate you for doing it.
I believe in it, and Martha Lillard was the last American polio patient. She just died with an iron lung. She died at the age of 78.
There you go.
Sitting there, lying down, wearing an iron lung for an entire life because of something that we now can just vaccinate. To think that we could put someone in a position like that when we can do something about it, I think that should just hopefully, impassion anybody.
All right. Continuing on. Thank you, Them Runny Eggs. I'm so sorry I didn't see it to be able to put it on the screen. I totally thought that was the one from what you sent the other day, and that's my fault. But thank you so much for the 400 bits. Daily Lady Labor Tax. Wish I could do more. That is plenty. You being here and supporting is plenty. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. But for those who can, I do have 145.44 in my goal that we can Dollar Trade, $2 Trade, start working on. Hey, careful. The kids are really loud in the back. Yeah. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. What's up, babe?
Our saving grace will be that if their kids die from preventable diseases or are stuck in an iron lung, they won't be able to vote.
Well, I guess since we're getting this new boomer generation, that's one way to look at it. I don't like that. I prefer children live, but that's just me. Oh no, so want to murder babies that I want children to live. It's interesting. All right. Oh, did he get rid of himself? It doesn't matter. Okay. Continuing on, guys, we are at 83,000 likes. We need to make our way to 100,000 in 15 minutes, so make sure you're tapping. Make sure those fingers are working or the auto taps are going. However you want to do it, just make sure that it's working and tapping. I know we're fighting with men because it's Thursday. Thursdays and, well, every day. We're fighting with men on the algorithm every single day. So let's make sure that we're supporting women and keep doing the good things. So then we go to Bhattacharya. Bhattacharya. Okay, Jay Bhattacharya is the head of the NIH, and he is currently the acting director of the CDC right now. He was standing in that room when that EO was signed and spoken about. We showed you where there were moments where you could see on his face, or at least his body language seemed uncomfortable with what Stephen Miller in particular was saying. And so then he was asked about, a couple things that I have on him. Dropping the number of vaccines. Is dropping the number of vaccines going to change instances of autism or change anything in a positive way? Look, he might run a patriarchy, honestly.
Here. Will dropping the number of vaccines that children are advised to receive from 18 down to 11, do you believe, given your experience, that will lower the instances of autism in America?
I don't know the answer to that question. That's something that we're studying actively at the NIH, at HHS. What I do know is that it's likely to. I believe it will be likely to increase the trust that the people have regarding the vaccine recommendations we have. It's more in line with what our European nations do. Less emphasis on force, more emphasis on sort of shared decision making.
We don't like Europe in any other circumstance. No other circumstance do we give Europe applause until it comes to their medical system for vaccine schedules only. Because what else? What else do our European neighbors have that we don't have? Anybody? Anybody? What do our European neighbors have that we don't have here? That you guys fight tooth and nail against? What do they have? There could be a reason why their vaccine schedule is a little bit different. Universal healthcare, Elizabeth. Ding, 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 ding. But for some morals is crazy. But you guys will argue tooth and nail that we can't do that here. I don't want to do that here. Oh, but their vaccine schedule? Yeah, no. Why? Because less. Less equals better. Because we're simple people and less equals better. Yeah, data privacy as well. True.
More emphasis on parental autonomy.
Clap like a seal. Did that do it for you? Did you like that?
We're not taking any of those vaccines away from anybody. If you believe that it is good for your child to have them, you are able to get them with all the normal ways. The key thing is
well, here's the thing. As long as it stays, okay, recommended as it is with the CDC the way it is now and not changed, then it doesn't affect the insurance. When CDC changes it, it does and can affect the insurance because insurance companies are pieces of shit. So people need to be able to have coverage, especially if you think, foca means seal in Portuguese. If you are trying to get your kids vaccinated, if you do come up with an FDA-approved separation of the MMR, that equals more appointments, equals more copays. Who's funding that?
Shift in how we talk about it, and we are now partners with parents rather than overlords of parents telling them what they must do.
Just really quick here.
Okay, so you even heard him kind of stumble through saying that. Well, we're going to our European neighbors. So then Bhattacharya is asked about what if parents say, "Hey, I'm vaccinating my kids, but other parents want to opt out. Well, are my kids going to get sick?"
Really quickly, doctor, what would you say to parents who say, "Well,
I know what it is, Sparky. I know what it is.
Now I'm going to give my kids all these vaccines, but other people are going to opt out, and my kids are going to get sick at school." What do you say to that?
Well, take a look at the measles vaccine, right? The measles vaccine is a very
Go to CVS for the shot, no copay. You don't think you have to pay your child for the MMR? Is your childhood MMR free at CVS? I don't think that's how that works. I know that they offer free flu shots when it's flu season. No, this is Jay Bhattacharya. But, okay.
Right, the measles vaccine is a very, very effective vaccine if you want to keep your kid to not get measles, which I think is an admirable thing to do. If you are worried about your kid getting measles, it's good.
Lynette yelling, "Yes, you do. CVS charges your insurance if you..." That's what I thought. I wouldn't see, yeah, like I know they do like free flu shots or whatever at CVS, because that's actually the pharmacy we go through. At CVS during flu season, a lot of people do. Not for your fucking MMR, for your child.
And vaccinate your child with measles vaccine.
Okay. Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, thank you.
So he, again, advising, get your kids vaccinated. He's advising that, even though he was standing in that room with that absolute ignoramus that is Donald Trump. So then Donald Trump was on that, I don't know if it was News Nation or like Steve Bannon. No, because Steve Bannon only runs his own show. So I think this was News Nation. And he had said in the Oval Office, like, well, nothing bad can happen. Nothing bad can happen. Well, here he is saying, like, well, if I'm wrong, I guess, whatever, whoopsie.
I want them to break it into 4 visits or 5 visits to the doctor. And I think that will have a huge impact. And the other thing is there are certain vaccines, the MMR. Do you know the MMR, as an example? If you give them, certain studies. So what do you have to lose? You know what I'm doing? I'm saying, what do you have to lose? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Nobody's going to get hurt by it.
Bullshit! Children will get hurt by it. If you're wrong, children will get hurt by it. That's bullshit. Hi, R. Baron.
MMR. If you give them separately, the M, and the R, it's fine.
Do you think he knows? Does he knows the difference?
MMR. If you give them separately, the M, and the R.
I would love somebody to ask him what they stand for. Just one time. I just want to know if he knows. Yes, see, Spark, I don't think he does. I want the LMNOP vaccine. If you separate them, the M, and the R. Yay, he can separate letters. We're so proud of you. You're doing so great. You're just so great. You're reaching those milestones. I'm so proud of you.
It's fine. When you put them together,
No, separate companies, but same concept, Chris.
they're sort of like a nuclear weapon, according to some.
What? Who's the sum? Please cite the source on the sum that says putting them together is like a nuclear weapon. This your man? Yep. I'm going to stick by him.
It's fine. When you put them together, they're sort of like a nuclear weapon, according to some. So why wouldn't you give them separately?
Because there's none that say that it's like a nuclear weapon when put together. Nobody. Just you and a bunch of crazies on the internet. That's it. So then because this is partially in Bill Cassidy's fault, who has now come out and said, oh, this is so bad, I hate this, because Bill Cassidy is a doctor, he was asked on CNBC, hey, do you regret your fucking vote? Do you regret your fucking vote? Do you regret your fucking vote? Which I showed you his vote this week.
Then to Mike's point, you ultimately voted to confirm RFK Jr. As secretary, and then you also recently cleared the way for Erica Schwartz's confirmation as CDC director. Do you regret those decisions?
Well, so first, this is a presidential executive order. RFK told me he was not going to change the ACIP. So if you're going to tell me somebody didn't tell me the truth and I should have seen in the future that they were not going to tell the truth, you can say, oh, Bill, you should have seen into the future. In which case I'd be on your show talking about the futures of stocks as opposed to vaccine policy.
So his excuse is that, well, RFK told me he wasn't going to change the ACIP, which is the board that recommends immunizations and the schedule with which immunizations are given. And how was I supposed to know he lied? How was I supposed to know in the future that he lied to me? Easy, because everything we knew about him before his confirmation hearing was that he's a fucking anti-vaxxer. That's how. And that he was lying to you to get confirmed. We knew that. We all fucking knew that. You're a fucking doctor. You should have known that. I don't think he magically changed his anti-vax status from 2024 into his hearing in 2025. His obsession with the word nuclear makes me think he doesn't know what nuclear is. Probably not.
And I anticipate Erica Schwartz will do the right thing. She made a point.
That's what you said about RFK Jr. You anticipated he'd do the right thing, and then he didn't.
That her integrity was not in question. And she's got the spine of somebody who's been a senior officer in the Coast Guard. She said, I don't need this job. My integrity is more important to me. In this case, her integrity, this system, matters to that child's health.
Then to
Still your fault. Again, that's your legacy, and we'll ensure that it is, because you won't get to live long enough to see what your legacy is. Now, we've got a new one. We've got a new fun one. I think did we hear it from somebody yesterday? I can't remember if somebody who called in or whatever said it. But this is the new one. So this is Lisa McLean with the new talking point that MAG is going around with because they don't understand things.
Tell me, you now see what Senator Ron Johnson was able...
It's perfect! Cap! Perfect fucking fucking timing, Cap, who is the quintessential example of fucking MAGA propaganda. You are here at the perfect time. How'd you know? Here you go, Cap. This is for you.
Tell me, you now see what Senator Ron Johnson was able to release. What are your thoughts?
You know, it's disgusting and it's criminal, in my opinion. As a mother,
it's not.
I can't imagine being pregnant, listening to the man in charge straight up lie to the American people. You try so hard to get pregnant, and then you listen to him. Oh, in fact, I think he actually said that there was never a risk of pregnancy, never a risk. When in fact, the New England Journal of Medicine said 82% of women who got the vaccine in their first or second trimester had a miscarriage. I mean, that is criminal, and it's
Now that I want, so I meant to bring that up. New England Journal of Medicine, 82% pregnant women receive COVID vaccine, have miscarriages. Sorry, because I had different reporting, so I meant to bring that up too. Searching. Why are you taking so long? Okay, look, I know it's AI overview, but we're going to go through this Yahoo Health article so that it's not AI overview. Okay, hold on. Hold on, Lisa McLean. We'll get there, sweetheart. Fact check. Studies do not show an 81% or 82% miscarriage rate in women vaccinated against COVID-19 in the first trimester. Do studies show... No, that's not true. The numbers are a long-running misinterpretation of early safety data on how mRNA COVID-19 vaccines affected pregnant people. The 81 and 82% figures come from miscalculating percentages from early incomplete data. No study actually found those miscarriage rates, which I have reporting on as well. We'll get into that in just a minute. Hi, Thick.
Hi, how's it going, Monica? Also, to add a little more context as well, because of the whole Fauci text messages and him claiming that he understood this. The text messages stated that it was theoretically possible that this could be the case, given a set of very specific circumstances.
Yeah, I have the text later. It's something called, I'm not going to be able to say it
right. It's a cytokine storm.
Thank you, that one. But guess what your higher risk of that is? Actually getting COVID.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be fun for them. They're having a hard time today.
I mean, in other fun news, I know it's a little bit off topic. Well, it's wildly off topic. Did you see how, like, Trump abandoned everybody to die?
I did. I reported on that either yesterday or the day before, that he hid in a food cart. Love that for him.
Yeah, I'm a little behind like the news cycle right now. So.
Well, and here's the thing. So when I reported on it, what I said is the idea that the president, regardless of the fact that it's fucking Trump, the idea that the president moved planes because there was a safety issue and this was the Secret Service that said, hey, move because there's a safety issue, makes sense. I'm not critiquing that. Nobody's critiquing that. What I'm critiquing is his reaction, because people are like calling him a bitch and saying you're a pussy. And he's like, no, I moved and you go down, I go down, you go down with me. Like, it's his reaction that's the best part. Like, duh, he would get moved. That would make sense. But like, Clinton did this. I think Bush did this. Clinton, I believe they notified the press that the mission was happening. So they were aware that what was going on. But he was just like, fuck y'all.
Could you imagine the collective sigh of disappointment if we had very briefly, say, in a hypothetical situation, the plane was shot down, and then we wound up for like a day with President Vance only for Trump to reappear out of nowhere and be like, guys, I'm here.
He comes out. Would have been an interesting set of news days, even more so than it already was. That would be for sure.
Yeah. All right. You can drive me back down into the comments.
Thank you, Thick. Okay, so as we see, that's not what the New England Journal of Medicine said. They are miscalculating the percentages. That's not what it said. You can read it here. They publish it. look, it gives you a hyperlink to it. I'll have that in the outline. We all know that I love to do that. So again, once again, they're lying to you. Oh, did that one not click? Yeah, that one did. That's fine. Let's go back to Lisa McClain.
Disgusting, and this man should be held accountable for it.
I don't know what you would hold him accountable for in way of a crime. I keep asking you guys what crime Fauci committed, and you're like, he was pardoned. Yeah, it was preemptive. So what crime did he commit again? And you guys can't seem to tell me. So I do have some reporting on it that shows the text messages that we're talking about, and we will go through that. It's going to be easier if I do it this way, probably, because it automatically starts playing.
We learned that through his text messages that the vaccine and the booster was linked to miscarriages in pregnant women in the first trimester. And
because everybody listens to fifth place swimmers, but anyway.
Dr. Fauci knew it.
You may have seen videos like these.
81 to 82% of women who got the vaccine in the first trimester experienced a miscarriage. 82%.
Claiming that Dr. Anthony Fauci concealed information that the COVID vaccine causes miscarriages. But there's little evidence to support that. As part of its investigation into the handling of the COVID pandemic, the Senate obtained Fauci's former government-issued cell phone from the Department of...
Who is she? Lynetta, you don't know who Riley Gaines is? Oh, she tied for 5th. And she's made it her entire personality that she tied for 5th.
Health and Human Services. That department is now headed by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has a history of anti-vaccine activism. Republican Senators Ron Johnson and Rand Paul released a text message chain between Dr. Fauci and other health officials in January 2021. In one exchange, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy asked about the best timing for administering COVID vaccines during pregnancy. Fauci replied that there was no data or theoretical reason that vaccinating earlier or later in pregnancy would be preferred. But then he said that a cytokine storm and fever that some experience after the second dose could theoretically be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. Vaccine skeptics have pounced on this text, claiming it's evidence that the COVID vaccine causes miscarriages and that Fauci and other public health officials covered up that information.
So I want to go...
Health officials covered...
Just a tad bit so that we can look at this. Okay. Let's see if I can get a little close. Not really. All right. So from Fauci, I asked around a bit more. Another issue came up that you need to be aware of, since many people have significant, and I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly, leave me alone, cytokines, storm, and fever after the second dose. This theoretically could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. There's this thing you guys do, which is called correlation equals causation fallacies. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. This was in January of 2021. Now, what I want to stop for a second and point out, Meghan McCain, whose father is rolling in his grave, cytokine. Thank you. Cytokine. But Meghan McCain, whose father is rolling in his grave, okay, put Fauci in jail. I am a woman who was pregnant and had a miscarriage during COVID. Okay, we're going to talk about that. What I want to preface this with is, regardless of how I feel about Meghan McCain, she's an absolute idiot. What I want to say is that I am not disparaging her experience of having a miscarriage. I want to be clear. Not disparaging a woman's experience of having a miscarriage at all. What I am disparaging and disputing is your timeline. She wrote this tweet saying that she had a miscarriage during COVID. Well, that's really interesting, Meghan, because you wrote this New York Times op-ed about your miscarriage, which is beautiful. Everybody should probably read the story in regards to understanding women and their feelings in regards to miscarriages, how often they happen and how they're not talked about and shoved under the rug in this patriarchal, misogynistic society. But you wrote this in July 19th of 2019. July of 2019. And in the first few sentences, you say a few weeks ago. So then your miscarriage most likely happened in June. Now again, not taking away from her experience, that's fucking terrible. I am so sorry, Meghan, that you had to experience that. I am so sorry. No condescension, no sarcasm. I'm sorry. What you're not going to do is use your story of a miscarriage to incorrectly point out a timeline to blame Dr. Fauci. You're not going to fucking do that here. So, I'm a woman who was pregnant and had a miscarriage during COVID. No, the fuck you didn't. C19 started October 2019. No, the fuck you didn't. Well, and here's the thing, though. Ari, when was the vaccine available for the public? When was the COVID vaccine finally available for public distribution where Meghan McCain would have been able to get it? We do a quick Google search on that because I don't remember. Could she have had another? I don't think she did. Not that she publicly said, unless that's her releasing it publicly. 2021. Yeah, 2021. I was like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't 2020. It was 2021. Just don't lie. That's all. Just don't lie. But anyway, let's go back to these claims.
Up that information.
Tony Fauci knew the second COVID vaccine dose could cause miscarriage, and he didn't warn the public.
But just a day later, Fauci said that animal toxicology studies had not raised any red flags about giving COVID vaccines to pregnant women. Years of research have also found no link between COVID vaccines and pregnancy loss, and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists still recommends the vaccines to pregnant women. Plus, cytokine storms, which are immune reactions that can cause inflammation and organ damage, are now more commonly known to be linked to COVID infections than to vaccines. Doctors often weigh the risks and benefits of recommending vaccines to pregnant women. Those conversations were even more frequent during the pandemic, with a brand new vaccine and a virus we were still rapidly trying to understand. Today, the science is clearer, but misinformation remains.
We learned that through his text messages.
The science is clear, but y'all keep repeating bullshit. It's really annoying. Guys, why can't we get this corn accomplished? What do we got going on here?
Sorry, I had my so I was wary, all because of something completely different about getting a vaccine while I was pregnant. I got the C19 oh no, sorry.
Oh, my gifting suspended. Well, you guys weren't doing it before that. So let's work on dollar training my goal then. We could do that.
C19 got my COVID shot while pregnant, and when I was going back and forth with it with my doctor, the risk of not having it and getting COVID outweighed the risk of getting the vaccine.
Correct.
And that was to both mother and fetus. Mm-hmm. So even with the questioning during, which we're all going to question everything that's new to us during that time period, I don't feel like there should be anger towards them still considering what this could look like, because that's how progress and, advancements happen.
Right. My biggest thing with the issues in regards to COVID-19, the vaccine, and Fauci is this idea that he lied, like he was maliciously, intentionally lying to harm the American populace. When what we know about science and the study of science is you are giving the information that you have to the best of your abilities with which you have it. We didn't have all this hindsight information that we have now, which, by the way, proves you even more wrong. Like, I can understand, RTP says it great. I can understand you being nervous or unsure when it came out. And if you didn't take it during that time because you were unsure, that makes sense. But here we are now, it's 2026. The science says what it says. There's no reason for this kind of rhetoric anymore. None.
I mean, the only reason is for you all to just look at that shiny thing over there, mm-hmm, while we do all these terrible things over here that's still affecting you.
Still in healthcare, but pivoting a little bit. If you guys haven't heard this story, welcome to a fun one. It's not fun. It's not fun. But before I do that, thank you, Juicy Juice, for the $2 train. Choo choo. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Guys, sorry, my fault. I forgot that, they, and I'm probably not going to win that appeal. My gifting is suspended. That sucks. Sucks a lot. Hate that. So can we work on my goal, please? I've got about 2 hours left to go here. And I know that we can work on getting that goal down and accomplished. Guys, this is my job. It's how I pay my bills. It's what I do for a living. And we pay for women's labor on this app because I damn sure know we pay for men's. So we should be paying for women's in the same way. Let's make sure we're doing that. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal on the link tree in my bio. Let's do that and just keep tapping over here on TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube and you have not hit that thumbs up button yet, I would appreciate it if you did so. It means a lot. All right. Get ready. Ken Paxton demands protection for surrogate and unborn child with birth defect. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has intervened in a Dallas County surrogacy case involving an unborn baby with a severe heart defect, seeking to ensure the fetus receives life-saving medical treatment after birth despite objections from his intended parents. The unborn child, who Paxton's office referred to as baby Gabriel, was diagnosed in utero with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, a congenital condition in which the left side of the heart is severely underdeveloped and unable to properly pump blood throughout the body. After learning of the diagnosis, Paxton said baby Gabriel's intended parents, who live in California, demanded that their surrogate terminate the pregnancy. The surrogate refused to have the abortion and traveled to Texas, he said, where she sought protection and access to doctors with experience treating the condition. Baby Gabriel deserves a chance at life, and I will not allow anyone to unlawfully deny him medically necessary care, Paxton said in a statement Tuesday. My office will use every tool available to protect innocent lives and ensure that every child receive the care required under Texas law. Texas law prohibits almost all abortions, including in cases of rape or incest, but has narrow exceptions for situations in which the life or health of the patient is at risk. Doctors in the state can also face felony charges if they perform the procedure, the penalty including jail time, loss of one's medical license, and fines up to $100,000. Then the surrogate is keeping the baby then? Yeah, but the problem is, whose DNA is that to make that baby? Yeah, biologically, that's not your baby. That's the intended parent's baby. You make a deal as a surrogate to do the care with which the parents that are paying you to do, and now you're running. Paxton's office said the unborn child was diagnosed with the condition at 20 weeks and is expected to be born imminently with a serious but treatable heart condition. Baby Gabriel's doctors recommended the Norwood procedure, which is the first of the 3 after-birth surgeries that have standard treatment for the condition, according to a letter Paxton's office sent to 2 hospitals in Dallas. Paxton's office also alleged that the intended parents refused to give consent for the procedures and may seek to transport baby Gabriel to California to prevent doctors from performing them. Yeah, it's their child. It's their fetus. It belongs to them. Yeah, surrogacy contracts do get weird, but I mean, it's not the surrogate's child. Paxton has asked the 301st Judicial District Court in Dallas to issue orders providing for baby Gabriel's medical care after birth and preventing his potential removal from Texas. Paxton's intervention comes nearly 3 years after he fought to prevent Texas woman Kate Cox from having an emergency abortion after her unborn child was diagnosed with trisomy 18, a fatal chromosomal condition also known as Edwards syndrome. Of course, my appeal was not approved. Cox ultimately fled the state to terminate the pregnancy after the Texas Supreme Court blocked a lower court order that would have allowed her to receive an abortion. The state severely tightened its anti-abortion laws in 2022 following the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade, which ended constitutional protections around the procedure. Who is paying for this? Because usually the surrogacy, the parents pay all prenatal care. Well, yeah, they're probably figuring something out with the state. Probably their taxes. State taxes, probably. In Texas. Wild. Oh my gosh, it's a singing mushroom. It's so cute. Oh, wait. Oh, my gifting's back. It said appeal not approved. Whatever. My gifting's back. Corn. A big lump with knobs, and it has the juice. Let's make sure that we're doing that. Thank you so much, Scuba Tea. I can't speak. Thank you so much, Scuba Steve, for the $10 for Let's Get This Woman Paid. Thank you so much. And let me make sure this is not a name that doesn't want to be said. Thank you so much, Pamela, for the $4. Women's labor is not free. I'm really sorry. This is all I can give. Keep up the great work, Bonnie. Don't worry. Do not worry. I do not want people to give outside of their means. I would never. Thank you so much for the corgi. Look at him walking in his sweater. I would never want anybody to give what they can't give. I have been there. I understand. And when I really want to support a creator, and I just can't, totally understand that. So do not feel obligated to. For the people who can, pay for women's labor. So thank you so much for the 10 and the 4. And I'm going to do this one first. Shh. Everything's fine. Then that would be, yeah. Yep. I think. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, well, now you guys, you guys really liked the corn comment, apparently. That was something you guys really liked. Oh, they took this away from me. Now I gotta fix it. I have one more thing on health that we're gonna get to. Ro Khanna went to Pennsylvania to talk to Trump voters about Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare for all. Where's the finger horns? Did I miss them? Did I go past them? Sorry, they ruined my gifts again. It makes me very mad. Also, if you have an extra chunk of TikTok change, I do have the meteor shower and the flying jets left. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Is it me? Is it me, Jesus? Is it me, Jesus? What is happening? Okay, well, I don't know. I'm losing my mind. We'll do that one, I guess, because I don't know what to do. That'll work. You have a serious question. Can you write it in the chat? That would be great. I could answer it before we do that. What's this? Thank you, Liz, for the $4.99. Sadly, they probably will saddle the bio parents with the cost the same as they did with the child born in Florida. You're right. They will most likely sue and say that you are covering the cost of this care, even though they did not give her the consent to leave with said child. So that's interesting. All right. Ro Khanna speaks to Pennsylvania Trump supporters, Trump voters about health care for all. Do I consider myself a racist even though you're a Democrat? I'm actually a registered independent. I don't consider myself a racist, but as a white-presenting Latina, I obviously have an unconscious bias, a taught bias, a privilege of not being able to see the situation because I don't live it. So there's going to be racism in me that I am always working to deconstruct. I don't think that I get to consider myself racist or not. I don't think as a white-presenting Latina, I get to name myself anything. I don't get to be the arbiter of that. That is on other people in marginalized communities to determine. I don't get to determine that for myself. Okay. Weird question. Anyway.
There's no future here. Until we actually have sustainable jobs, well, they tell us everything is great.
What about an FDR-like New Deal?
My grandmother loved FDR.
Yeah.
She said he was one of the defining presidents of her lifetime. My mother said it was JFK. For me, it is Donald Trump.
But if you...
I know you don't want to hear that, but I've supported Trump all the way through because I want something different.
The worst politician's speech starts like this. I want to renew the American dream because we have an affordability crisis and I want to bring down costs. And that person has said absolutely nothing. Are you going to be for taxing billionaire wealth? Are you going to be for Medicare for all? The specifics matter. The policy matters.
This was the town that people flocked to from around the world to make their American dreams come true.
Trump had talked about bringing a steel mill to Johnstown years ago in 2016.
Did he really?
We are going to bring prosperity back to Johnstown. Your steel will come back.
Would you be okay if we provided free healthcare for every American?
Yeah,
and are you someone who's voted for Trump that would support Medicare for all?
I voted for Trump, but I ain't going to do it again.
Why is that?
He's got big ideas, but he's not doing nothing.
Do you guys get free health care that's in the union?
What would you think of having national health insurance?
That'd be phenomenal because, like I said, we could take that money then and put it towards something else.
A lot of people voted for Donald Trump thinking there was going to be change. But I explained it was going to be war because war is big business. And our kids...
Well, yeah, Lynette, yes, to be fair, that man can't do it again, right? Like he said, I voted for Trump and I'm not doing it again. But I think what we mean is even that, like, okay, yeah, we can argue. He can't fucking run again. I don't see the point in arguing that because we know that the Constitution is the Constitution. Suck it up, Buttercup. If he chooses not to leave, that's going to be a whole different fucking scenario. Or if the good Lord takes him home beforehand. But saying I wouldn't again, I want to almost change that language into the Republican candidates that they're giving you. Are the Republican candidates they're giving you a platform like that, like he mentioned, having Medicare for all? Are they giving you that platform? Are they promising you these things? Were they under Trump's thumb to begin with? If you have a candidate coming out who was like, everything Trump did was great and we're going to continue that legacy, don't vote for that person. You have these Trump voters who were lied to about what was going to come back in way of manufacturing in their town, and now we see where there is a connection. There is such a connection. A majority of people, there was an old YouGov poll that was like 54% of Americans agree with some sort of Medicare for all standard. I saw this morning More Perfect Union is saying there's a new YouGov poll, I just wasn't able to find it in time, of 64% of Americans agreeing with some form of Medicare for all. This is something that crosses political boundaries, and we need to really hone in on it. If we have candidates that are honing in on it and presenting it in a way that is digestible, we can get there.
We're going to continue to die for money, for the billionaires to get richer.
While these companies are extracting billions of dollars, it is not trickling down.
And I represent a district that's got $20 trillion in a 50-mile radius, 1/3 of the nation's wealth in Silicon Valley. Let's start using.
That's true. Ro Khanna represents probably one of the wealthiest districts in California. That's true.
Using that money to pay for the health care of Americans.
Sounds awesome.
How many people would support a 5% tax on billionaires in this room? Who's for taxing these billionaires at 5% of their national worth?
Which three policies which rebuild the middle class in America?
First, Medicare for all. That would rebuild the middle class. We should be taxing these billionaires at 5%.
Now, that's obviously what he's running on. He's obviously running on taxing them at a 5% annual wealth tax. That's a good start. It's a good start. I'll take it as a stepping stone, as a start.
It's $4 trillion to build new jobs here, and we shouldn't be getting in these foreign wars. Economic development needs to be our mission. Is there anything you'd rather have here than a steel plant in terms of what Johnstown needs?
No. Steel plant, and it's exactly what this place needs. A rebirth on their identity.
Have new technology centers, child care jobs, elder care jobs. I want a Democratic Party that's going to have the ambition again that FDR had, and that's going to redevelop places that have been left out.
Joe, what do you think?
You look at all that.
So you're a Trump voter who'd be open to that kind of a message, genuinely.
Yeah.
There's so much more that we could do in way of the things of coming together for the American people that would be beneficial for all of us if you guys would just stop fear-mongering about Black and brown communities and about trans people and about the LGBTQ. If you guys would just stop fear-mongering and come out of your hole, we could do things together. Michael, why would I name a perfect country when one doesn't exist? I never said that. I said more beneficial. You guys don't, again, what did I say this morning? You live in this binary. Everything has to be utopia or it's dystopia. There's no in between. I want progression. I want progress. I know that's a tough word for you. I want things that benefit the American people, more beneficial than the system we have now. The system we have now does not have good healthcare outcomes. The system we have now is more expensive. I want better than that. Stand with me and fight for better. From the people in charge, from Congress, fight for better. For you, for your family, for your children, for your friends. For me. You don't have to like me, but do it for me because I'm trying to fight for it for you. I'm not naming a perfect country. That's stupid. Hole, yes. They'd rather fill a pool with concrete than share with people. Yeah, well, you're right. We've seen this throughout history, as we know. Free college? Great. Love that. You're giving it to Black people? Nope, can't do that. You're so worried about taking away from others instead of just sharing in it. We could all have it. What is so wrong with all of us having it? Anyway, continuing on. Thank you, Scuba Steve, for the $6. You said to mute Ruben. Sorry, not sorry, Ruben. We have not seen Ruben today, but W's to you. That'll get him another week. This man. So sorry, Ruben. I'm really not, because to be fair, I think he's only come in the box to actually speak to me twice. They want to survive rather than live. Right, you guys don't want to thrive. Republicans hate you. I know they do, Nurse Rod. I know Republicans hate me. I know. And there are times where I hate them, I'll be honest. There are times where I hate them because of their disgusting rhetoric, the things they say, what they want to take from people. Maybe, Michael, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's other ones. But I might hate their rhetoric. I might hate some of their belief systems. I only hate it when they try to take those belief systems and put them on other people. But I want them to do good. I want them to be happy. I want them to be able to work and also be able to afford a vacation once a year. I think that that's not too much to ask. I want them to be able to pay off a car. I want them to be able to pay off their house. I want them to be able to buy a fucking house before they're 40. I want that for them. Do I think socialism is the way? Socialism is an economic theory, and we already have a mixed economy. I have no problem, because realistically, I have no problem keeping that in check together. Right? We have social programs. I just want an expansion on those social programs. You can still have capitalism. You can still have private ownership. Because realistically, I don't think we'll ever get to an entire socialism society where the workers own the means productions in every single company. I don't think that that's the case. But we need to get, like I've said before, in way of taxes, right? I think either you tax, and I don't know the percentages. Don't look at me. I'm not the math person. There are people much smarter than me. But you take billionaires and a trillionaire, and you tax them their fair share of what they should be fucking paying percentage-wise, or they don't have to pay that, but they have to invest that same amount into their employees specifically. I don't want to see it go into your goddamn pocket. I don't want to see it go into your profit margins. I want to see it go into your employees. Skull, if you're going to use a slur, use the right use of your. That would be great. Right, but the stock buybacks. Oh no, the stock buybacks. All right, speaking, I guess we'll move to economy then. Because there's an affordability problem and everybody knows it, including the Republicans. The problem is the Republicans want to blame somebody else. But here's Brandon Gill saying that there is something wrong with the country right now. It's not Trump's fault. Of course not. But there's something wrong with the country right now. I didn't minus that 6, did I, from Scuba Steve? No, I didn't. Okay.
Of course. I mean, look at a lot of these young people who are moving to the DSA. What they're doing is, I think they're recognizing there's something wrong in the country right now. Wages are not keeping up with inflation. Rents are way too high. I'm coming out of college with massive student loan debt. I'm having a hard time getting a job. And socialism is trying to, the DSA is trying to sell sort of a bill of goods to fix these problems, when in reality, it's this left-wing ideology that has created all of these problems in the first place.
How? What left-wing policies caused inflation to outpace wages? Because that didn't happen until just now. Thank you, Michael. Caused rent to skyrocket. Name me the policy. I would like to see that. Name me the policy. But they just say it. They do because it's all they have. They don't have anything to actually sell you that's progression. They don't have anything. Thank you, Elfinator, for the 1999 super chat. I appreciate that. You said, let's be real. If we lived in a Star Trek society, we would be able to self-sustain. Yes. The thing that they don't realize, maybe, or that they don't want to realize, Star Trek is communism. It's space communism. It's what it is. But they don't like that once they find out what the name of it is, right? And you don't have to label it. I don't fucking care. Don't call it that. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Just get us to some form of progression that's better. This isn't working, Brandon Gill. This isn't working. How are you trying to fix it that's actually beneficial for the American people? Because it's not. You're cutting the tax rate on the rich without any revenue to back that up, and you're trying to take that revenue from the social programs that people at the bottom desperately need. We shouldn't need them. I agree. We shouldn't need them, but we do. And so what's your plan to fix that? Don't just tell me it was the left. Don't just say that the left and the Dems did it. What are you going to do to fix it?
Mass migration being one of the biggest things. Ask yourself, whenever you flood this country with millions of people, primarily illegal, but also large-scale legal immigration.
Oh, we're just going to lie about immigration. Okay, we're going to lie and say that millions upon millions came in under... Okay, that's what we're going to do. God, they don't fix anything. God, okay.
In certain areas. What does that do? That suppresses wages while at the same...
Prove that. Still haven't had anybody prove to me that having migrants here in this country suppresses the wage. The minimum wage hasn't changed since 2009. How was that immigrants?
Same time driving up the price of rent and the price of
Superman, how many millions? How many?
Housing. So you're getting hit on both fronts. These are also the same people who are coming in and taking American jobs, making it harder.
Supply and demand. Show me statistically, since they've been coming here, since the minimum wage has not changed since 2009, and immigrants were coming during that entire span of time. Show me statistically, we've had plenty of time to run a study since then. Show me statistically where economists say that migrants being here have lowered the wages, diminished the wages. Yes, Brandon Gill did say that. I just want my kids to grow up in a country they recognize while also being married to a woman of Indian descent.
To find work. They're the reason why.
Show me, bro. Show you what? Show you what? I can't prove a negative claim. You made a positive claim that immigrants diminish wages. Prove it.
Whenever you go to the hospital and you realize your doctor bill or your insurance bill is insane, you realize it's because we have millions of people from all over.
No, Clint, you guys do this every time. My God, it sets you off every single time. They suppress wages by taking lower wages than Americans will work for. The minimum wage has nothing to do with it, except it does. It does. If they are taking lower wages than Americans will work for, that means that they are working under the table illegally. Take that up with the corporations. Go after the corporations that are hiring illegal immigrants under the table. I want to give immigrants a pathway to citizenship so that they have to get paid what Americans get paid, which is minimum wage, which is involved because that's the law. You're not allowed to pay below that point, dummy.
The third world that have been let into our country, and we're subsidizing their health care, and your insurance prices are paying for that. I mean, you can go on and on and on, but that's what I think that it all does go back.
Also that, thank you, Ari, for the reminder. The Fair Labor Standard Act of 1935 requires the minimum wage paid to everyone regardless of status. So, if you as an American refuse to come in and work, okay, for $7.25 an hour, but the immigrant does come in and say, I will work for $7.25 an hour, which is the minimum wage. They just beat you at capitalism. That's what you're mad about. It's not that they diminished the wage. They're just willing to work for less, and you can't because the cost of living is so high. Oh my God, all of your problems are actually with capitalism. You just don't fucking realize it. They beat you at capitalism. If you believe in competition, they just beat you. Maybe make it so the minimum wage is higher, so that life is more affordable. Maybe do that. I don't know. Try something.
To mass migration.
My free market. My free market. Stop screeching, woman. No, thank you. I like to screech, and people come to watch me screech, so... Too bad. Now we go to Mark Tepper on Fox talking about the affordability metrics. Now, he doesn't really necessarily, I don't believe, blame Democrats, but just talks about the fact that there is an affordability problem, and we know that. Elfinator, thanks again for the $19.99 super chat. Federal minimum wage is stagnant, but state minimum wages are changing dramatically. This is true. Absolutely true. Mm-hmm. And guess which states have higher minimum wages? It's not Travis.
What was disappointing in this report, though, Stu, is the affordability metrics that I like to look at most closely were not good. So when I talk about affordability, I'm talking about real wage growth. Is someone's wages growing faster than inflation? That's when things become more affordable. If we look at real hourly earnings, they were actually down, 0.2% year over year. Real average weekly earnings were up 0.1%. Why? Because people are working more hours. So that's not what we want to see from an affordability standpoint. We want to see people working the same and making more money. We don't want them to have to work against the clock just to be.
So the increase that we're seeing in weekly wages is because people are working more. And like he said, that's not a good metric of what's going on with the economy. That means people are having to work more and still can't afford life. They're not making more. They're not making more money. They're just working more.
Able to afford to put gas in their vehicle.
That's bad. Continuing on, another Fox News segment. Americans' paychecks not keeping up with the cost of living. Ooh, it's almost like we were just talking about that. Interesting.
And unfortunately, we have more ground to go, because if you look at real wages after you account for inflation, everyday Americans' paychecks aren't keeping up with the price increases still. And that's a problem because
what you're getting paid is not covering what it costs to live. At this point, survive. You guys are okay with that? Why are you have a little circle? Don't do that. You guys are so annoying. You guys are annoying. W's to Scuba Steve for the $2 train for just to hear you scream louder. I feel like this is. That's what that feels like to me. I just want you to know, Scuba Steve. Thank you so much, Scuba Steve. By the way, why is Scuba Steve doing so much to get our goal down? Guys, you don't fucking like me anymore? Listen, I'm on for about an hour and a half more. We should be working on this goal. What are we doing here? 121 with an hour and a half left to go. $1 train, $2 train, $5 train. Let's work on it, please. Let's work on that goal. Let them eat cake. I mean, imagine if we could live in a world where survival isn't a game for you to win or lose. Yeah. I don't want to work people don't want to work their entire life. That's not what people want to do. You should be able to work and then enjoy time with your family. You should be able to have that leisure time. If it weren't for liberals, you guys would be working all fucking 7 days anyway. There would be no 40-hour work week. You guys would be fucked. So I guess you should thank them for unions and child labor laws and shit. But you guys don't want to do that. The children yearn for the mines is what I heard yesterday. All right. Now, we're going to go to Sean Duffy. Sean Duffy's son-in-law just won his primary in, is that Wisconsin, I think he was running? God knows. Because that's what Sean Duffy was busy doing, not being the Secretary of Transportation. He was busy campaigning for his son-in-law. Real professional. Thanks. Our tax dollars are doing so well. And he was asked a question about people being able to afford to fly. As we saw with the BLS numbers that we reported on in regards to the CPI, airline fares went up. We saw that. That's a combination of factors, right? We lost an airline. Spirit Airline went out of business or sold or whatever the fuck. And then the war in Iran made fuel prices go up as well. So we're seeing people who can't afford to fly, and he's being asked about the fact that year over year, that price has gone up.
A lot of people around here can't afford to fly. Can you say something about the dollar? Gas prices are $1 more than they were a year ago. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, thank you for having us. I appreciate the questions that come today. No one over here complained about Joe Biden's inflation, which is wild.
If you couldn't hear him over all that noise, nobody complained about Joe Biden's inflation, which is wild. Was he around during that time? What? That's all you guys complained about. He's not allowed to say wild, in my opinion. Yeah, also he's too old to say wild. That's all you guys complained about. That's all you guys ever said. Guess what? I might not have been doing my own lives yet, but I was doing my own lives when Biden was still president, by the way. But I was definitely in political spaces. You guys might have seen me on Doug's a lot. That's where I got a lot of my followers from, was being on Doug's. And Doug would run a topic about why you're supporting Trump in regards to the election. Hey, you're going to vote for him. Why? You want to know what everybody said? You want to know what everybody said about why they were voting for Trump? That's where we met. That is where we met, Adriana. Prices. Inflation was 9%. Prices. Biden. My eggs. The gas. Prices. I can't afford to live. When I go to the grocery store, I can't afford the food. That's what all of you fucking complained about. What the fuck is he talking about? Number one in the exit polls for why people voted for Donald Trump was the economy. You guys did complain about it. What do you mean nobody complained about it?
For having us. I appreciate the questions that come today. No one like over here complained about Joe Biden's inflation, which is wild.
Can you talk about gas prices?
Yeah.
The thing is, we didn't call it Joe Biden's inflation because you would have to correlate the two, and they don't. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Hello, this is Jessica, Pennsylvania, Trump.
And how old are you, Jessica?
I am 40.
Okay. What'd you call in about?
I just wanted to call in about the prices.
Okay, what about?
So when everyone was can I curse?
Yeah.
So when everyone was bitching about prices of eggs and all this and that, we got Trump in.
Mm-hmm.
Trump helped a little bit in the beginning. A little bit.
How?
Prices went down like a couple cents here and there.
No, I agree.
And then
We even saw a decline in gas. I'm asking what policy did he put in place or Congress put in place to effectuate that?
He himself does nothing but takes all the credit because he is president.
Sure.
You know, so anything goes good, he takes the credit. Anything goes bad, he takes the credit. Actually, usually throws somebody under the bus.
Right. I would agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, he's a shit person. I'm not a fan. I just wasn't 100% certain on Kamala and her. Kamala.
Why did you vote for him then?
I felt like I really had no other choice.
But you
it was like a rock and a hard place.
I mean, you could have just not voted. What didn't you like about Kamala?
Kamala seemed very wishy-washy.
On what?
And it seemed like just about like life in general. She like seemed to like remember when Hillary Clinton was running for president and she pulled out the hot sauce on the radio show. She's like pandering to the African American community.
Or maybe she actually carries around hot sauce.
Or whatever. Both could be true. But I felt that's the type of energy that I felt from Kamala. I'm sorry, Kamala.
Or just say Harris if you can't say her name. But sure, she gave you that energy. I don't care about energy and vibes. I care about what she actually was proposing. So like, what was she wishy-washy
on? California, the state of California, not the state of it. I mean the state of it, not the actual. I mean, this is the actual state too, I guess.
Sure.
But the state of California, which she presides over, is crackheadville.
The fourth largest economy in the world?
Yeah, they have a large economy, you know, that doesn't mean anything. India has a large economy. China has a large economy. Everyone lives in poverty.
No. That's not true.
No?
In regards to China, no. Not everybody's in poverty. They actually report no homeless people in China.
I mean, they report no homosexuals in Iran, but we know that's not true.
They don't report that. They just don't allow it. That there's a difference.
No, you can Google it. There are no homosexuals in Iran. That's as far as the Iranian regime says. I know it's funny. I'm trans.
Sure, it's not funny.
They have no
but I still don't understand how you're getting crackhead California. California is doing they're doing all right. Nobody's perfect, but California's doing all right.
I would correlate California to like Kensington, Philadelphia. Have you seen that place?
No.
Kensington, Philadelphia is literally an open air drug and prostitute market.
Kensington,
Same thing
Philadelphia.
like
Do you mean
California,
Kensington,
Skid Row.
Pennsylvania?
Excuse me?
Do you mean Kensington, Pennsylvania? You said Kensington, Philadelphia. I'm not sure if that's like a separate suburb or.
I think it's Philly. I'm not sure, but it's Kensington. Oh, I think it might be PA. I'm sorry, I get confused.
Okay. Well, you
Hi,
live
so
in.
what
But
you're
it's
talking
Kensington.
Go ahead, Mia.
Hi, so what you're
What was
talking
that?
about is it's someone else talking to you, and you're talking about
Oh.
this particular place in Pennsylvania, which they have multiple organizations going to help treat the because of the way that it became on the market. They are actually trying to get people up there to treat the people that are on the streets and get them into programs. However, there have been cuts to to SAMHSA, which is for mental health, and well, under this
Harm reduction,
administration.
yes.
So that's going to end up making things a little bit more difficult to get resources for those people that are. If it is Kensington,
But why?
it's the Kensington sounds familiar. I think it's that or very close to that name.
Yeah, it's Kensington, I'm sure. So my issue is, why prioritize these junkie people,
No.
these
No.
transients,
We're not going to do that.
over
No.
citizens?
No. Hey,
I could have had a sex change a long time ago if it wasn't for these people
No.
leeching
They're
off
not
of
dipping
these
into
funds.
it. No, they're not dipping into a bucket that was made for Jessica that you're now not getting. That's not true. And you just said they're taking care of them over citizens. They are also citizens, and they have a disease that we need to address. And what they are trying to do is address that in a way that we know is more beneficial than
disease
just
is that?
locking them up.
What
Substance
disease
use
is that?
disorder.
No, I'm not saying
Substance
to
use
lock them up.
disorder.
I'm just saying to leave them be. Let
They
them
don't correlate,
overdose.
Blue.
If they overdose,
No.
They're dead.
No.
God wants them. God is calling them up to Him.
No.
What's your name,
How?
Lisa?
Jessica.
Wait, what's your name, Lisa? Jessica? Okay, my apologies. Okay, so Jessica, here,
What's your
I'm
name?
gonna
I'm sorry.
I am Mia, and I'm going to let you know
Mia.
that substance use disorder is actually a brain disease. And for you to discount that brain, like that disease, is one, disrespectful, and two, it's dehumanizing. These are still people. These are still humans. These are still humans.
I actually used to be
No.
an addict.
No. We're not going to
Great.
continue to interrupt
And
you.
you're not going to use your previous experience of being an addict to put other addicts down. You're not going to do that. I'm glad that you because that's what that called.
That's exactly why I know
that's
these
called
people are
is
garbage.
what that's called is survivorship bias. I'm so glad that you were able to get out of it and be sober. That is survivorship bias. You're saying because I did it, they should be able to do it without whatever help.
So is homosexuality a mental illness too?
No, it's not
No.
classified in the DSM-5 as one.
Why are we skipping between substance use disorder and
Because it's like, why substance use disorder is one thing, but being a homeless drug addict,
That is
only
substance use disorder.
thing in life
That is substance
drugs.
use disorder. That's what that
Okay,
is.
being a substance use disorder ailment and putting that over children and trans
Nobody's putting it
people
over
and,
them.
and
what the fuck?
We have multiple buckets. We have multiple buckets. You know what's taking away from
The
being able?
buckets
No.
are running
Jessica,
dry.
shush. Jessica, stop. What's taking away from you being able to get a sex change is not homeless people with substance use disorder. What's taking away from you being able to have a sex change is Donald Trump revoking funding from these hospitals in the states who administer that care. I know. I'm in Colorado and they stopped doing it because they were scared that they were going to have their funding revoked from the Trump administration. That's who's doing it to you.
I agree. I agree in part with that. With
So
this
then
statement,
stop
I agree
blaming
100%.
people with substance
you-
use disorder. We can take care of them and take care of you. That's what I'm advocating for.
And they're
You
two
didn't vote
different.
for
Can
that.
you please?
There,
Can you
it's
please
two
pull up
different
a
health.
video of
Like
Kensington, Philadelphia?
No.
Can
no,
you please pull up a video?
No.
no.
It's that bad. It's like a war zone.
Cool,
It
then
is
we should
worse
fix
than
it.
Iraq.
Cool. Then we should put in funding.
No.
to
That's
fix it.
another
You don't
thing
wanna
that
do
you're
that.
not going to do.
You're gonna throw good money at bad?
What do you plan
your
to do?
what is your issue with people, with humans? What is your issue with humans?
It's no issue. There's no issue. I'm just saying we need to get our priorities straight.
So what's your plan for Kensington then?
Honestly, just let them be.
No, you don't let them be because then they effectuate other communities. No, you don't let them be because one, those are people. One, those are people. Two, nope. One, those are people. Two, they affect other areas around them. There is obviously an issue with poverty. There's an issue with poverty. We need to fix that issue. You don't just leave them be and let them rot. That's what they want to do to you, and it's wild that you want to let them do that to other people. That is a wild take.
But I rise above it. They don't. They
No, you are
uneducated
about the
Kensington,
systems.
Philadelphia for the drugs.
No.
They become homeless to go get drugs there.
That is not the case. That is not the case. That's not how it works.
No, you have substance use disorder, which then leads to you being homeless. You don't become homeless on purpose so that you can go get drugs. That's the dumbest take I've ever heard.
So is homosexuality and transgenderism going to make you homeless?
What that has to do with substance use disorder. I don't know what that has to do with substance use disorder.
Because you're both correlating them to diseases.
No, I'm not. You did that.
No.
No.
Substance use disorder is the disease.
I never correlated homosexuality to a disease. Never did. As a pansexual, never did.
Oh.
Okay, that was you.
What? Oh, you're pan?
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
I'm sorry about that.
Why?
I'm sorry. So, okay. If we
Why are
could
you sorry
reset-
about that?
No, I'm sorry for
Let's talk
arguing.
about how much you hate
For
yourself. Let's talk
arguing.
about it.
What?
Okay.
Can you
W.
reset?
Scotty,
Debbie Scotty.
do you have? I'm pretty sure. Sorry, I interrupted that. I have a feeling I know who that was, and just go ahead and block that one too.
I have fun with them.
Because that sounded very similar to yeah. Anyway, I just want to put this out there. Substance use disorder is a brain disease. If anybody is struggling with it and they don't know how to get resources, you're more than welcome to reach out to me as someone who this is exactly what my line of work was. So if you need resources, please reach out. It's also a symptom and not the problem. So please make sure if you are not taking care of your mental health, to take care of your mental health and reach out if you need resources to be able to do that. And please do not discount one person's experience just because you've been through it or you've seen someone else get through it, because not everyone is afforded the same opportunity. That's why equity is important.
And then I also want to point out that, one, not all homeless people have substance abuse disorder. Substance use disorder, excuse me. Some do. And there are people who are not homeless who also have substance use disorder. We saw that rise in the 2000s of fucking stay-at-home wives and middle-class people who were getting addicted to painkillers, prescribed medication at home. So this idea is just a way to dehumanize and other people who desperately need help. If you want to look at how our society is doing, look at how we treat the lowest among us. Like that.
And yeah, lack of resources and removing more resources is exactly how you do more harm to the community. So if you want something to be cleaned up, there needs to be an effort to do so. When you turn away from a problem, it makes the problem worse. Look what racism and bigotry has done in this country. Pretending it doesn't exist does not cease it from existing. It just feeds it. But anyway, you're beautiful, and I cannot wait until Pansexual is formed.
Get up here. Let's dance. Let's dance. Pansexual
I'm
is
so
an
happy.
amazing place. It is.
It is an amazing place. I dreamt about it last night.
Dreamt about it last night, Casey. While we were dealing with that, thank you so much to excuse me, Scuba Steve for the 2144. You said for the follow back. I will do that on my public Instagram. No problem. I could do that. And thank you to Oh Me Oh My for the 4144. I'm tired of people thinking the economy is government has a giant wallet. We all have baby wallets and you just have to quest good to find money. Right. Like it's fucking like a giant Dungeons and Dragons game where it's like, well, if I do enough quests, then I'll pick up my bag of gold. Like that's not what's fucking happening. Fucking stop that. But thank you so much. W's to Oh Me Oh My and W's to Scuba Steve brings us down to 58.56 with about an hour left in the goal. Yeah, someone was being a trash bag, like, and as per usual. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. We can try and get back to the fact that this administration doesn't give a fuck and wants to lie about the fact that nobody complained about inflation under Biden. Now, again, like I said before that phone call, I don't know how you can call it Biden's inflation other than the fact that it happened under his administration. You would have to show me where economists have attributed that 9% to him versus global pandemic and supply chain issues that the entire world was dealing with. But you all complain. Y'all didn't stop complaining. Y'all haven't stopped complaining. You won everything and you still complain.
We have a president who has fought to
Define pansexual. I'm attracted to pans because, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I love the kitchen.
bring back American energy dominance, common sense energy that gives us American jobs and lowers our gas prices. But also with that, we can't have a nuclear Iran. It destabilizes the world. And so in the short time, we have some issues with the Strait of Hormuz, but you have fuel price per barrel is at $81, $82 a barrel, which is pretty remarkable that it's as low as it is with the Straits of Hormuz. It's that low.
Again, we are giving applause to Donald Trump for the price of oil per barrel being $81 or $82 per barrel, when the reason it's up in the first place is because of Donald Trump's war in Iran. So now we're giving him praise. It's amazing that even though the strait is closed because Donald Trump's a fucking idiot and caused a war where Iran closed the strait, even though he did that, it's at 81. It's not fucking amazing? Give us claps. Give us claps.
Because of American energy dominance. And that's a president who believes that we should actually produce energy here, we should refine energy here, and now we become a net exporter here. So, again, we're in a great place with what we produce in America.
Andy, we talked about the oil reserves yesterday. Not good.
And you have a short-term disruption in the Middle East because a long-term safety for America, but for the world, because Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and that means that if we use a nuclear weapon, which means if anyone who cares about the environment, you look at what happens to the environment if one of these bombs go off. It is catastrophic.
So then now we fearmonger about a nuclear weapon that Iran never had. Now we have to fearmonger. I know it's tough. I know. But give Donald Trump praise for bringing it down to 81 from the 100 that it was at because he caused this war, but also he saved you from nuclear annihilation that they also never had.
Not just for the human heart, for lives, but for the environment. And so the president is fighting to make sure that we preserve peace and prosperity without a nuclear Iran for not just this generation, but future generations. So.
But Russia can have them, North Korea can have them, and our future generations are just going to have to suck that up and deal with it. Deal with their nuclear annihilation. North Korea literally plays clips on television of blowing up America with a nuclear weapon. But sure, whatever. Kay, was that you in the Cash App? Because I don't want to say your name out if don't want to be inappropriate. So thank you. I'm just going to say K. Thank you, K. Okay, that was you. W's to K, please, for the $2 train. Choo choo. I only have $2 right now, but I appreciate what you do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, I don't ever want anybody to donate if they don't have the means with which to do so. I've never want anybody to put themselves in a bind to donate to me. I have wonderful community members that we get this done, and if we don't get it done, that's okay. I just cry and I complain. It's fine. I just yell that they like men and then they have to treat me right. That's just kind of how that works. Because, you know, I'm a grifter on the left and don't believe anything I say, even though I work hard to put these outlines together. But thank you guys. I appreciate all the support that I get from you. Speaking of applause, let's give ourselves applause. That's the goal that I have up there over here on TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube and you have not hit that thumbs up button, I would appreciate it if you did so. Now, guys, I haven't advertised this in a while. Don't forget, I have a Discord server. So if you would like to be a part of my Discord server and be a part of my community in an even more meaningful way where we talk and bullshit and whatever, that should be in the link tree in my bio across all platforms. A lot of the times you have to paste it into a separate browser to be able to pull it up. Then you have to go to, I haven't even been there in so long. Verify account. Go to verify account, open up a ticket, fill out that ticket with all the information that is needed, and we can get you verified and put in there. Yes. That means that there are people who can come in as long as you are not harmful, but you have competing views to most of my community. You get a separate role, however. You do not get verified in the same way that other people do. But if you want to be a part of the Discord, please feel free to join. Yes, babe?
You got to stop calling it applause because it's the clap. So y'all give Monty the clap. They're going to knock out that goal in no time. Oh my God, I have the clap.
That's not, I don't like that one.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right. Well, since Sean Duffy brought it up, of course, Kayla. Yes. Sean Duffy brought it up. Let's talk about oil prices. Apparently, Bret Baier is having a harder time expressing his usual taint glazing for Donald Trump, because oil's just not doing well, and our what do you call it? Trafficking of oil is not doing well. So here's Bret Baier. I'll let Bret Baier speak for himself, I guess.
How much? Total oil flow averages nearly 21 million barrels per day in the first half of last year, equivalent to about 20% of global petroleum liquids consumption. Usually about 1/5 of the world's liquefied natural gas trade moves through there as well. Despite President Trump claiming total control over the strait, traffic has slowed really to a trickle. If you look at this, before the conflict, more than 100 vessels a day were crossing. Monday, 8 vessels crossed. Yesterday, 14. Now, those are constraints, and that's...
So, it's my favorite, though. Despite what Donald Trump is telling you,
natural gas trade moves through there as well. Despite President Trump claiming total control over the strait, traffic has...
Fox News is coming after him now. And it's just because they hate Trump, right, MAGA? That's why they hate Trump. He just hates Trump. Bret Baier hates Trump. Despite Donald Trump claiming total control over the strait, the traffic is trickling through.
Slowed really to a trickle. If you look at this, before the conflict, more than 100 vessels a day were crossing. Monday, 8.
That's a wild claim, mister. If it weren't for Trump, America would have fallen years ago. We weren't supposed to make it out of COVID. What the fuck are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about?
Vessels crossed. Yesterday, 14. Now, those are constraints, and that's changing the government's energy outlook. The Energy Information Administration raised its forecast for the average price of a gallon of gasoline over the full year by 14 cents. You can see right here. It also raised its 2026 forecast for Brent crude from $82 a barrel to $87 a barrel. And there's another problem building as well. The International Energy Agency says global crude oil inventories fell by 2.2 million barrels a day in July. It expects a global supply deficit of 1.8 million.
Oh, Mister's just okay, COVID denier. Got it.
Barrels a day in the third quarter. That's more than double its previous estimate. Now, let's move west.
So even Brett Baer and Fox can't, they try. The panels try to continue the lie, but they're having a hard time with that. Last little thing that I have on the economy, More Perfect Union. We love them here. Did a shorter-ish video. It's not one of their 15-minute ones. In regards to the giant transfer of wealth that ended up being tariffs and the refunds associated with it and how it harmed the American people, and we didn't get a benefit out of that. So those tariffs that you guys voted for because you didn't understand what they were hurt the American people. By the way, guys, thank you so much on TikTok for the 228,000 taps. I appreciate you guys doing fucking fantastic. We are well on our way to 300,000 before the end of the hour. On for one more hour. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Went on Hassan's show. On Hassan Minhaj. Yeah. I haven't seen that one. I'm going to look that one up later. I'm going to write that down while I play this.
Trump just gave out $100 billion in tariff refunds. Where did they go? Not to you. Trump imposed billions of dollars worth of tariffs onto companies importing foreign goods last year, and companies passed them on to consumers in the form of higher prices.
This cost U.S. households at least an average $1,000 in additional taxes in 2025 and could cost $900 in 2026.
The Supreme Court ruled many of those tariffs illegal and required the Trump administration to refund them. But there's a big catch. The refunds are going to the richest corporations in America and not to everyday people who could actually use this extra cash right now. Corporations got to juice their profit margins with higher prices and now get to take in billions in refunds from the government. Apple, for example, just got a $2.2 billion refund while reporting a 50% profit margin on their business. Apple saw record revenue of $109.4 billion this quarter, with stock price up 46% since last year. Meanwhile, Apple has significantly increased prices, like a 25% price increase for iPads or an 18% price increase for MacBooks. Walmart is expecting a $2.4 billion refund and has promised to put that money into price cuts without a plan in place to actually do so. Meanwhile, Walmart kept its margins steady in 2025 and 2026, while gross profit actually increased. Double dipping. Costco could get up to $2 billion in refunds. Costco's own earnings data reveals that amidst the tariffs, it actually expanded its margins. Amazon, for its part, has promised to return as much as it can of its comparatively paltry $600 million in refunds to its customers. But this goodwill is a little hard to buy given all the ways that Jeff Bezos has embraced the Trump administration so it can get more of what it wants. Like donating $1 million to Trump's inaugural fund and Bezos in Billionaires Row at Trump's inauguration, the millions it spent on lobbying for tax cuts, surveilling contracts, and union-busting protections, to name a few. Of course, none of this is surprising. Since day one, Trump's tariff system has enabled corporate corruption and created yet another way to prop up mega corporations and screw you. Like when Apple secured an exemption from a 100% tariff on imported semiconductors and chips in exchange for a 24-karat gold thing. As small businesses struggle to get refunded for the tariffs that nearly crushed their companies, and Americans struggle with out-of-control greedflation, it's good to know at least that some of the biggest corporations in the world will get a little extra help.
So they got paid twice. They not only made profit off of the tariffs in and of itself, but they also got the refund. What was that gold thing? Did you not remember this? Apple presented him with this, and he couldn't open the bribery. He likes gold. Hey, give us an exemption on this tariff if we give you this. Fucking corruption just in your face. You know, at least they used to try, and you know, the mafia used to try to do the sleight of hand to like pay, you know what I mean? Like, is it just a block? Yes, it's just a block of gold. He deserves the bribes. He was so hurt by Biden. Biden ruined it for everybody. So stupid. All right. This is going to be a wild pivot, and I only have one video on this, but I think it's one of the longer ones. Yes, it is. So, make sure we're tapping and doing all the good things because TikTok doesn't like it, and I don't usually interrupt the More Perfect Union videos that much, but jingle, jingle, hey, puppy, go get the gold. There's your puppy. More Perfect Union did a video about, I put it in environment, but big tech is claiming that oh my God. I quit. Bye. Big tech claims AI data centers don't use much water. More Perfect Union decided to do a dive into that. Poppy, get some help. Okay, AI Danta. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just here. I'll put this on for you. And then I'm gonna leave. It's fine.
There's long been a fight over who gets priority when it comes to water in the American West. The arrival of data centers just made it a lot more complicated.
About 2/3 of new data centers under construction are being built in drought-prone areas.
I would ask the farmers, why do they keep planting more pecan orchards? That is a bigger water user than the data center.
I hope that those people who support the data centers can eat computer chips, because where are they going to get their food from?
Driven by local tax breaks and an industry-wide space race to build, these companies promise they won't add to the water burden.
Daily water usage over the course of an entire year is roughly equivalent to what a single restaurant would use.
But is that really true?
The water that's used inside the data center itself is only the tip of the iceberg.
And guys, also while we're sitting here, I'm going to do my grifty grift. Since this is a longer video, I would appreciate it if we could start dollar training or $2 training crowdfunding to finish out this goal. That would be amazing. We are sitting at 56, which is quite a bit with what is left over, with the time that's left over. So if we could work on that, that would be amazing.
We've all noticed our wells have pretty much dried up.
Everything has been so secretive. They just don't know. No one knows.
There will be no future without water. What don't you understand?
We came to El Paso, Texas, in southern New Mexico, where Meta, Oracle, and OpenAI are building massive data centers, to ask the question, how much water does the AI boom actually need?
Our goal is to get about 2,000 pounds per acre, about 50 to 60 pecans per tree.
Roberto Roque is a third-generation pecan farmer in southern New Mexico. Like many farmers in the Southwest, he's seen his water supply dry up from years of drought.
And the water's just gonna flood this field.
Yeah, just gonna go ahead and flood the whole field. It's very difficult because instead of relying on the water that comes from the Rocky Mountains, we've had to invest into agricultural wells, and that becomes very expensive.
It's also becoming more complicated because there's a new water-hungry industry in town, data centers.
If they consume the amount of water that people are saying that they're going to consume, then what are we going to eat? Because agriculture is going to cease to exist.
Roberto lives just a few miles from Project Jupiter, a 1,400-acre data center campus being built by OpenAI and Oracle. The companies say it will only require a one-time fill of some 11 million gallons to start.
Oracle, this is obviously just for edutainment purposes, and we love you on this platform over here. So just remember that we're just playing things for edutainment, Oracle. We love you. It's fine.
Up and cool 4 buildings.
They like to tell us that it's going to be a minimal percentage as compared to what a farmer uses, but who meters their water? How are we going to know? They're not telling the community the truth. They're not being transparent.
Around the country, residents and researchers have been pushing for more transparency around data centers' actual water use by filing public records requests. But what they're getting back is vague or redacted, like this water deal in Stafford County, Virginia, for an Amazon data center. In my home state of Oregon, Google's data center water use numbers were considered a trade secret. After a 13-month legal battle, documents revealed Google was using 1.5 million gallons of water per day, as much as 40% of the city's entire consumption. But even that figure is misleading.
The biggest part of the water footprint of a data center is not inside the data center itself. It's indirect water consumption due to the electricity that is generated for the data center. That's the part that these tech companies don't disclose. But if you're only talking about what's going on site, you're really missing the lion's share of the impact.
This is exactly what farmers and residents are so worried about on the New Mexico-Texas border.
When we found out that the data center was moving in, we understood that we were going to lose water.
Veronica Carbajal is a community organizer and attorney who was born and raised in El Paso.
So that's the Meta data center construction site over there. They broke ground October of 2025.
Big tech companies are flocking to the Southwest for cheap land, tax breaks, and power, and see water scarcity as a solvable problem.
This facility will be a very low water user. In fact, we have a closed loop system that basically just recycles the same water over and over again as a cooling technology.
In 2025, 20% of El Paso's water use was just used to cool power plants on the local grid, and demand is only set to increase as more data centers come online. But at full build-out, Meta's new data center could account for up to 43% of El Paso Electric's peak load.
One new consumer, Meta, wants to use 1,000 megawatts. That's going to explode the need for water.
I met up with El Paso Water CEO John Ballou, who is adamant that the
I'm not laughing at this, Danny. I'm laughing at my things that my community is saying in a different chat. Are you okay?
concerns over Meta's water use are overblown.
Meta coming in is really a drop in the bucket.
Danny is upset. Now I'm laughing at you. There you go.
It adds 0.4% to the overall water consumption. So it's not a big deal. We have plans in place. We have a sustainable supply of water.
We've asked them time and again why they keep speaking out of both sides of their mouth. To large water users like Meta, they're saying, don't worry, we have plenty of water. And then to residents, they say, we have to raise your rates because we don't have water.
In fact, it's the 11th year in a row that El Paso Water has imposed rate hikes on residents, with a double-digit rate increase in 2026. At a city council meeting this past June, fed-up residents demanded the city of El Paso cancel its deal with Meta.
The most violent act of this deal is the sale of water. In a desert region facing climate collapse, the oligarchy has decided that water is a commodity to be sold to a data center for profit.
But the city council voted 5-3 to keep the deal.
With the numbers being as large as they are, we might find that
Oh, there's that one. That's the guy. Okay, let's try this again now that I've got the right guy. Danny, why are you such a coward that you won't come up and have a direct conversation with me about your support of Trump? Because that's what I do, is I talk about politics. You won't come up and have a direct conversation with me, Danny, when I tried to invite you the other day. But you will DM my husband to tell him how you want to have sex with me. But you don't want to come up here and talk to me yourself? You're that much of a bitch? You said, yo, you married that sorry bitch. I can't even read the rest on TikTok, but it's in my cringe channel. If you're in my Discord, you can read it. But you don't have the balls to come up and talk to me directly. You don't have the balls to come up and talk to me directly. But you'll message my husband about what you would like to do to me and that you're sorry he married me? Is this the alpha in the MAGA party that I'm supposed to be worried about? You can't even speak to me directly. Hey, you can laugh, Lynette. I think it's kind of funny. You're such a big man, Danny. And you're ignoring the invite once again. Such a big, big, strong man. You lost your ability to DM, by the way. My husband was going to DM back to you, and it said, you can't. You lost that ability, didn't you? Yeah. Okay. His selfie was the best part. Couldn't even respond back to you. Okay. Back to my actual show and what I do.
a lot more people would start protesting if they figure out just how big of an impact these data centers are having.
Alex de Vries Gouw has written numerous peer-reviewed studies on data center water usage.
In my research, I found that on average, the water that is consumed to generate the power that's ultimately used by data centers is 10 times higher than the water that's actually consumed inside the data centers themselves. But they generally don't report on it. Only Meta provides this number, and in their case, their indirect water footprint is 24 times larger than what they consume inside the data centers itself.
The numbers are shocking, and it's unclear.
Damn you, Vic. Yeah, I do prefer applications by mail. Certified letters only. Thick. Can't stand you.
Clear if local leaders making the decisions are even aware of them.
So we're at a community meeting being held by a city councilwoman. We reached out to her to ask for an interview, but she declined. But we're going to see if she can talk to us anyway.
Cynthia Boyad Trejo. She is the city representative where the Meta data center is located. And despite over 200 people showing up to City Hall, she voted in favor of Meta.
We came here to try to speak to the city councilwoman about this deal that they have with Meta and the water commitments that the city has made to guarantee Meta water. She's right behind us, but she won't make herself available to speak with us.
Can you guys do your interview outside?
Outside?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why?
She's not comfortable with you guys holding this interview here. Yep.
Okay, we'll leave, yeah. I mean, we just want to ask the councilwoman about how much water Meta and Project Jupiter are going to be taking from the community. Why do you think she won't answer these questions?
I don't think anybody knows. The council doesn't know. Meta hasn't been able to answer those questions. What's happening in El Paso is that economic power is concentrated in a handful of people.
Now, as they're moving on, I just want to say how that's why I tell you to pay attention to your local races. Vote down ballot and pay attention to the candidates. Don't just vote because it says RD. Make sure you're paying attention to their policies, because that's how you have people like your local city council who will be responsible for the approval of data centers in your area. Now, once that ball is rolling, it is hard to stop. You can. I've shown you videos where you can. We've seen it. I think it was Arizona specifically, where they made so much noise at their city council meeting that they were able to get that company pushed back out so they were not building a data center there. But even when you show up, sometimes it's tough once you get the ball rolling, because you need to be active in your elections. You need to be looking at your candidates. Who is running for your city council and what are their views? They have questionnaires. I watched this last one for my area. It showed up on YouTube. I found the link through Facebook, able to watch on Zoom them get questioned during primary season, them get questioned during their election. That's when you need to make the most noise, and you need to make your voice heard with that vote, because then you don't have a lot of leeway with them, because then they can just ignore you. She's already in the seat. It's done. She can ignore you. There are still things you can do to push back. You can make it so fucking unpopular that they go, shit, we shouldn't do this anymore. But you got to make your voice heard.
We in El Paso and in the Borderplex region need to get on the AI.
Also, thank you so much for the Scuba Steve for the $2 train for just because. Thank you so much.
Bandwagon.
There are private people with private businesses who are recruiting other corporations and businesses to El Paso. And it's a pay-to-play system.
One example, local businessman Lane Gaddy sits on the El Paso Water Board, which is providing water for Meta's $10 billion data center. At the same time, he sold the rights to an undisclosed amount of water to Oracle's Project Jupiter from his.
That's just disgusting anyway. Maybe that's the commie heart in me. I don't know. That's gross. That water rights exist. The ability to own water exist. While humans don't have access to clean water. We just sell water rights. We profit off of water. That's gross.
Own New Mexican sod farm.
They're not going to build a data center to where water will run out. That wouldn't be a wise decision. They're building in New Mexico and fucking Arizona and fucking Nevada. Places that already don't have water. What the fuck are you talking about? Places that are already running out of water. I knew my husband was going to come up. I knew that was going to piss him off.
Lake Mead's at the lowest level it's been since they fucking filled the lake. And then they just got their usage cut by 40% by the federal government because they couldn't come to a deal with the other Colorado River Compact states. So, yeah, they will build a data center that will cause them to run out of fucking water.
They're already running out of water. Before the data centers, they were running out of water. We have had constant, as a Coloradan, we have got constant fights about who gets to use our water and how much.
Yeah, they just mandatory 40% cuts to water usage for the lower basin states. So Arizona, Nevada, California.
But now they want to build data centers in these same lower basin states, and you're going to tell me that they didn't
On
do it.
national monument land. This is land that was a national monument because it's sacred to a fucking tribe. And then you had him lower, less than the fucking footprint of the national monument.
I'm not thinking like a long-term builder. You can call in and talk about it. I still have time. A long-term
You want to talk about long-term builder? The fucking
For water?
the estimates for water from the Colorado River were wrong from the get. That's why it's been overused, because it's been overallocated, because the study for the fucking river was done in the wettest damn year.
Yeah, also that. Val, you said, don't they pipeline Colorado water to California? Yes. Like, obviously, California has its own water. No, Donald Trump didn't open the faucet on the water. But we've chosen to make states that are not meant to be agricultural. And so they're taking water from different areas in Colorado. Like, we are here in Colorado, we're, like, funneling to, like, the east and the west now. Like, but you all want to build data centers there.
Yeah, the mountains in Colorado and Utah, the snowpack provides a majority of the water for the western United States. So if it doesn't fucking snow, you don't get fucking water.
Guess what it didn't do very much this last year, babe?
Rain.
Well, it didn't really snow either.
Yeah, both. All of the above.
Also yes.
When I asked Gaddy if he would speak on the record, he told me he was under an NDA.
Is that a conflict of interest?
This one is a clear one. When you sit on a board that deals directly.
Oh my God, Mark, you are unwell. Most people can't see past the present and don't consider innovation and actual science. What are you? Yeah, we are laughing together, which is interesting because, like, I actually hate him and we don't talk. What innovation in science is going to lead to more water? How are you going to get more water? I'm asking you. Okay, I can't see past the present, Mark. You can. Look with your special eyes. Show me what innovation is going to lead to magically more water for the lower basin states building data centers that are already running low on water.
With water, then you have a conflict.
Zoltar in the chat's crazy.
Tech companies say they have nothing to hide, and local officials take them at their word. But on the other hand, I'm getting kicked out of
Val, you said from rain? Yeah, but they don't like that. What's that called? The cloud seeding? They don't like cloud seeding. They don't like it! Chemtrails!
public meetings.
Incentives to do and freedom to innovate, it will be done. That wasn't an answer to my question. That's just, it's gonna happen. Where's that damn picture the Blue made? It can happen.
And running up against NDAs.
Oh my God, sorry. I'm so sorry to posit this mess. Two different people said desalinize ocean water. Do you know how expensive that is and who funded it? Do you think the Republicans and conservatives are going to fund desalination plants? It's called economics. Give me a solution. You didn't give me a solution. You just gave me economic terms. I'm sure your professor's really proud of you. Congratulations on using ChatGPT for your economic terms. Who's funding desalination plants? Who's doing that? Yeah, take more water from the ocean. Take the water we have. Just take all the water.
Nationwide, huge decisions are being made about data centers' water use based on numbers and technical details no one can seem to agree on or are willing to openly discuss. But one person agreed to talk to me.
Taxes from data centers can fund desal plants. Think ahead. What a socialist idea. What a commie idea. Because they're going to do that.
To start off, like, fuck the desalination plants. The most watered crop in America is fucking sod. If you just got rid of the goddamn grass in your yard, we'd have enough water for everybody.
Fuck your golf courses. Fuck up.
Yeah, stop buying into the white supremacist fucking manicured lawn. The most watered crop in America you can't even fucking eat.
But the taxes are going to pay for a desalinization plant, and the conservatives are totally going to go for legislation to make sure that that happens.
They opened this video. What? This is Arizona or Nevada?
This was New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico. Yeah, it's still a desert state.
We might be crossing states because they started out talking about the almond farms.
They panned out from that data center that they're building, and there's fucking sod farms. Stop watering your grass.
I don't expect lefties to consider economics and innovation. What's funny, Mark, is if you took, the idea of a desalination plant and made it so that the taxes that they pay, which, by the way, you would need to increase those taxes, increase the rate of taxes that they're paying and force them to pay to desalinization plants, fine. That is a leftist idea. That's a liberal idea. That's not a conservative one.
But then you're just increasing the salinity in the ocean and causing dead zones.
Yeah.
So then what are you going to eat
Climate
when there's
change.
no
Yeah.
fucking fish?
No.
Jesus Christ, people.
But innovation, babe. They'll fix it with innovation. If you just understand innovation. I say
Oh, I
with
thought you meant Jesus Christ. I was like,
if you understand Jesus in your heart.
I was like, the crucifix wasn't very innovative.
Oh my God, go away. Real quick while we're sitting here, thank you so much, Eric, for the $5. He said thanks for your hard work, and also from Anonymous for the 22 Twain. We love a 22 Twain. Thank you so much. I'll do that math while we try to play this. I'm going to stop reading Mark, because Mark's just going to say, you don't understand innovation. You don't understand economics. Jesus, you don't understand the world.
Jerry Pacheco leads the Border Industrial Association, a trade and advocacy group.
This is an industry that's moving by the minute. Companies have high stakes, billions and billions of dollars of getting there first with their data centers. Oracle's going to compete against Meta, compete against Google. All of these firms are competing to be the next wave.
But there's a lot of water at stake here too. Doesn't the community have a right to say, hold on,
But again,
before we say yes, tell us how much water you use?
That's what I have heartburn with. They're telling us what the water usage is, okay?
But DeVries Gao made it clear they're not. He calculated that the total water consumption of AI systems might already be around 200 billion gallons annually, close to 2 times the world's supply of bottled water. And it's not just his figures that are staggering. According to a recent UN report,
Kilo, you're absolutely 100% correct. Data centers are going to those areas because they're being offered major tax break incentives. Yep.
data centers' electricity
So how will you tax them when you promise them tax-free to move there in the first place? Thank you, Kilo. Yep.
consumption in 2025 alone had a water footprint of about 1.2 trillion gallons. That's enough to fill 2 million Olympic-sized pools.
We see that the tech companies are not just not disclosing numbers, they are actively lobbying against disclosure.
So who said that? You said since Democrats run California and California lawns have so much grass, it's Democrats wasting water. Is that your argument? No, actually, in way of not watering sod, I would actually say that that transcends the boundaries of political affiliation. But what I would say is Democrats are more likely to propose legislation to stop farming sod than conservatives are. That's what I would say.
In Texas, lawmakers sent a survey to 341 data centers asking about their water use. Only 17% replied.
I'm just trying to find a solution to the obvious problem that we're not getting compliance. It's woefully inadequate, and we need that information.
In New Mexico, 4 Democratic lawmakers are pushing for a statewide moratorium to block large projects like Project Jupiter until the state sets guardrails for evaluating water usage and other impacts. And at least 8 other states have introduced bills that require water use reporting.
Oh, look at the states that require. Interesting. What's that one? Oh.
But even if these companies start to fess up about water use, residents are still left footing the bill for the new infrastructure needed to sustain it.
We're going to get an impact fee from Meta that represents a small percentage of the actual cost that we're incurring to provide that service.
So this huge project that's requiring a lot of infrastructure, water, a lot of new demand on the system, residents of El Paso have to pay for that.
Yeah. Residents of El Paso would be subsidizing any kind of new growth. You can't pick and choose. You have to apply the same yardstick for everybody.
So while residents get stuck with the bill and their water future is in peril, leaders across the region seem to have bargained that the economic development will be worth it.
Project Jupiter are occupying our industrial space and creating jobs and creating that multiplier effect. And again, I compare that, how many people work on a 100-acre pecan farm? Where's the economic value of how you account for the water?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question though is economic value when it comes to water the only thing that matters?
If you're not considering economics, then you're not allocating your resources to the most efficient use possible.
Did they interview Mark? I think they interviewed Mark.
But residents aren't giving up.
If we continue to delay and raise awareness and tell our stories, I believe firmly that we can stop these projects. What we've seen over and over is candidates as well as
facing a recall petition after her vote on the Meta data center incentives. See, you can use your voice. Keep working. Keep doing it.
Elected officials.
Let's watch some fear mongering. It's not fear mongering, and it's just accurate data on the fact that they're not giving us accurate data. Give us accurate data so that and give the people a voice instead of just the city council trying to get incentives.
Because of the data centers. The data centers are on the ballot in November. At the city, at the county, at the state, at the federal level. We don't think that any opponent is larger than the power of the people.
All right. What I would say, what I always say, you're not going to stop data centers, but what you can do is you can put restrictions on them to ensure that we're doing it the right way and not just busting through, allowing them to come in and get super fucking rich while destroying our environment and harming the people in the community that they busted into. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying do it that way. Okay. Let's see with what time I've got. Guys, we're at 279,000 likes, which means we damn sure can get to 300,000 before we end today. So if you're on TikTok over here, please keep tapping. Guys, we still haven't finished out those applauses. I don't know why, but we should be able to do so. So if you see that little gift up there, let's complete those out and get this over with and done with, please. I'd appreciate it so much. If you're watching on YouTube and you have not hit that thumbs up button, please do so for me. It just helps push us out onto the algorithm as we get to the end of the show. It's going to help push us out for the rewatch, and I would appreciate it so very much. Helps build the audience so that maybe we can have more conversations, because I don't mind having these conversations. That's great. Love to do that. And I have 47.56 left in my goal. Let's try to crowdfund to finish that, please. $1 train, $2 train, $5 train, and we can get that completed with the 30 minutes that we have. All right, I have a small immigration section that I think we'll get to. Hopefully that ends us for the day, but I'm not sure. But it should. I think it should. Thank you, Mike, for completing that out. I appreciate you. So we reported yesterday about the memo on the electric shock gloves that they want to start using in ICE, but now we're getting reporting on it, and I also have Tom Homan's reaction to it. So we are gonna go over that.
With ICE tactics already facing fierce scrutiny, tonight the Department of Homeland Security is planning to spend up to $20 million on specialized gloves agents can use to incapacitate someone with an electric shock simply by touching them. DHS describing them as de-escalation devices, saying their officers are trained in use of force.
Give me your hands. Give me your hands.
The technology called the glove, or generated low output voltage emitter, seen here in a demo from the manufacturer.
You ready? Here you go.
In a manual, the company Compliant Technologies recommends avoiding use on the elderly, small children, pregnant women, and the severely handicapped. This comes as another ICE confrontation is under the microscope. Virginia mother Carolina Molina says an ICE agent seen here brandished his gun after she shouted at federal agents detaining people.
The one that tried to run us over.
The agents accuse her of trying to run them over, which Molina says this dashcam video shows is false.
When I saw him pull in front of me and take the gun out, because as he's walking up, the gun is already out, and then he starts pointing it at me.
In a statement tonight, the Department of Homeland Security again accused Melina of trying to harm agents with her car during an operation, which she strongly denies. Melina could face, the department says, criminal charges, although they didn't specify for what.
How many times now have we seen video where it's like, that's not what the fuck they said it was? Oh, shocker. That was a horrible use of words, but ICE is a liar. ICE is a liar. So they asked Tom Homan, you know, Borders doesn't have an actual fucking job, because the last time we showed Tom Homan, he's like, I don't know about that. I'd have to look into that. I'm not sure about that. But they asked him about DHS's plan for these gloves. Now, again, I point out, trying to get them to wear body cameras and keep the body cameras on has seemed to be a fucking issue with this administration, but don't worry, because they're going to spend $20 million on fucking electric gloves.
So you have something else I'd like to bring your attention to or talk about. DHS plans to spend $20 million on electric shock gloves to aid federal agents. How would that work, and what role would they play?
Well, look, it's another device to, to help someone be compliant where they're not. You just can't go from 0 to 100, right? And first thing you go for is lethal force. So,
so to me, that means he's acknowledging that these ICE agents are so ill-trained that they have been going for lethal force first. You can't just go for lethal force first. So we had to give them something because they're so poorly trained, we don't know what to do with them. That what we're doing? Tom? Is that what we're saying? Because it sounded like that's what you were conceding. Okay.
We have OC spray. We have tasers. So the glove is, the latest thing they're looking at to help in situations. You've seen the videos in the past year and a half, the fights on the street where officers are overwhelmed.
The videos in the past year and a half, you mean the ones of you killing people? Those videos? Are those the ones you're talking about? The ones where you're killing people?
This would be a tool they can use to make someone compliant. Now, there's a lot of training involved. There's still some, background, issues that need to be dealt with. So the implementation of these gloves out in the field are going to be a while. I think they serve a better purpose in detention facility, where detainees get out of control and there's fights in the facility. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Unfortunately, I don't look forward to the fucking stories that we're going to get from these. I don't fucking look forward to that at all. Thank you, Michelle, for the $5 for women's labor. I appreciate you so much. Brings us down to $42.56. I'll change that in just a second. And then we have this reporting, which I haven't gotten to because I don't know where to put it. It is both immigration and environment. So I figured I would put it here. I thought that this would be the best place to put it. If you haven't heard about what's going on with Big Bend, here you go. And this is crossing political parties for the people in Texas.
No Big Bend wall! Raging anger is echoing off these canyon walls.
This has nothing to do with border security and everything to do with corruption.
Protesters gathered in one of the most iconic spots in Big Bend National Park. They're horrified by the Trump administration's border security construction efforts, which is now being unleashed in this patch of far west Texas.
We are at war with these people. It's a peaceful war, but if you think what we've seen so far is bad, you wait until they unleash holy hell on this place next week.
Last week, crews started carving through the pristine wilderness of Big Bend National Park for what's being described as a surveillance road. The site was captured by a 27-year-old activist trying to stop what she calls this needless destruction.
Yeah, more than anything else, I feel heartbreak over all of this.
Natalie Newman navigates the roads in Big Bend, armed with her camera. She takes us to where construction crews have started their...
Hey, Giant, I know you're just a troll, but focus. Focus on what we're talking about. We are destroying more beauty of America, the things that makes us great. Our Purple Mountain Majesties, since you guys love all that patriotic bullshit, we're destroying more of it for the sake of hating on black and brown people, which are not a threat to you. As you said, it doesn't matter as long as they come in and collect welfare and vote blue, neither of those things being true. So you are inundated with propaganda. Fix that.
Work. You feel like you're just fighting a giant beast?
Oh yeah, this thing is so much bigger.
Supra, language? Oh, you don't like my language? Fuck off, you stupid cunt motherfucker piece of shit.
Bigger than us, and that's why I'm glad it's finally getting out well beyond just West Texas, because there's not many of us out here, and this is huge.
The Trump administration's plan threatens to dramatically alter the landscape of not just Big Bend National Park.
Giant, who said that? Who came out and said that they have illegals voting? Who said that?
But much of the region surrounding it, stretching roughly 500 miles. The plan involves 5 different projects, costing more than $7 billion. The Department of Homeland Security and Customs and Border Protection will build nearly 200 miles of border wall, install steel vehicle barriers, and carve hundreds of miles of new roadways through part of the park's 800,000 acres and beyond. All of this in a sector that officials say only accounts for about 1% of all illegal border crossing apprehensions. The early plan unveiled by the federal government included a border wall inside.
I'm sorry, what was that percentage again?
Illegal border crossing apprehension.
1%. 1% of illegal border crossing apprehensions happen here. And that's worth destroying parkland. That's worth destroying the natural beauty of the Americas. 1%.
The early plan unveiled by the federal government included a border wall inside the national park, but now DHS and CBP say that's not happening.
This is not the end.
Oh, Giant's an idiot. Got it. Okay. You know what Giant said? Giant said Mikey Sherrill said it. That's not... Did Mikey Sherrill say that it was a big hatched plan by the Democrats to have illegals voting? Do you know what happened there? I covered the entire story. Do you know what happened? I covered the whole thing. The day it happened, I covered it because I knew you idiots wouldn't be able to read. Let's go over a quick lesson, shall we? 6,600 non-citizens, doesn't necessarily mean illegals. You're an idiot. You don't know that. 6,600 non-citizens who went and registered for a driver's license wrote no, that they are not a citizen eligible to vote. There was a glitch in the system that registered 6,600 of them, even though they said no. Of those 6,600 who received ballots and were wrongfully registered to vote, 400 voted. It was found. They caught it. Those votes didn't count. Those votes didn't change any kind of election. 0.0009% were those 400. It was not purposeful. It was not designed. It was not on purpose. It was a glitch within the system. Mikey Sherrill came out and said, by the way, it wasn't even Mikey Sherrill's administration. It was the previous one. And Mikey Sherrill came out and was honest about it and said, we have canceled our contract with that machine company. And we are investigating exactly what happened. Okay? Do your research. You absolute sheep.
This is the beginning.
That hasn't eased the tensions. The anger over this plan is visible all over the area. Banners blasting the border wall have popped up everywhere. Local Republicans and Democrats are unified in their opposition to what's happening.
Oh, unification. See, this is what I'm talking about. We had it in regards to Medicare for all. We now have it in regards to destroying national parkland. So I want to listen to this. We're going to listen to it. But first, before I do, I want to make sure that we get this. Thank you so much, Scuba Steve, for the $2. He said, curse more. I want to have Tourette's by the end of the day. That's what it feels like sometimes, but it's fine because I like it that way. Thank you so much, Runny Eggs, for the $6.79. You said math this, which is, I'm doing this for you. I just want you to know. I'm doing this for you. $6.79 gives me $33.77. Thank you so much. And the reason I say I'm doing this for you, not $4.33, that's insanity. The reason I say I'm doing this for you is because I didn't even have to, because... But W's. W's to Runny Eggs, W's to Scuba Steve, and then W's to, I don't know if I want to say your name. Who are you in the chat so I can say your username instead? W's for the 45, leave me alone, Chickie, for the 45 completely completing out the goal, but I know you wanted to see me do math. I know you wanted that. And so, did it for you. $433 trade. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. That's why you have a sticker from me. D-Man. Okay, that was you. All right. I thought it was. See how I said I was going to remember and then I was like, but I probably won't. Did I tell the truth? I told the truth on that. I was like, I'll remember you. I'm so sorry. W's to D-Man. W's to D-Man for finishing out the goal again. He has done it already multiple times before. So W's to D-Man for that, but I wanted to do that for runny eggs so you guys could see me struggle with math since you guys seem to enjoy that so much. So again, let's watch for this unification between the parties about tearing into national park land for immigration for an area that accounts for 1% of border apprehensions.
All over the area. Banners blasting the border wall have popped up everywhere. Local Republicans and Democrats are unified in their opposition to what's happening.
I'd be all for it if it was necessary, but it's not necessary.
Thad Cleveland is the Republican sheriff in Terrell County. He was also a Border Patrol agent for 26 years.
They want to put in vehicle barrier in a lot of...
You guys love this. He's a Republican. And he's a former Border Patrol agent. You guys love anecdotal stories from former Border Patrol agents. Okay, so you'll listen to him, right? He's a Republican.
This
yes, sir.
In his office, he showed us a map of where the plan in his county is to put about 160 miles of steel vehicle barriers along the Rio Grande. There's only one problem.
And these are...
Y3, if I have not seen Brandon Herrera's stance on Big Bend, I hope that is his stance. Brandon Herrera is an absolute trash human being. Okay. I'm sure that there are other candidates willing to protect Big Bend that have better policies than Brandon Herrera. So there's that. W's to the TikTok tappers for the 300,000 likes with 9 minutes to spare. Look at you guys go. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. W's to you.
Places where it's physically impossible to drive a car through.
100%. Makes no sense at all to put a vehicle barrier.
You must be scratching your head going like, what are we doing, folks?
Definitely. I'm very disappointed.
At the beginning of the first Trump administration in 2016, we came to the Big Bend region.
And I want you to tell Donald Trump that we already have a wall. Thank you very much.
And reported on what many feared the new president might bring to this area. And asked this question. How in the world do you build a wall in this kind of terrain? 10 years later, we're sitting down with the former superintendent of Big Bend National Park, Bob Krummenacher. He says the more pressing question is not how, but why the Trump administration is doing this.
I would say it is one of the most insane and destructive and, yes, ridiculous ideas I have ever heard. I never really thought anything this absurd would happen in any national park, let alone the one I know so well.
Ed Lavender joins us now from Big Bend National Park. What are the chances this project gets halted?
Well, you know, there are a number of lawsuits in the works. We should point out that early on, when this was first announced several months ago, the federal government waived dozens of environmental impact laws, cultural impact laws to speed this process along. So there are lawsuits based around that as well. But really what people here want to see is statewide elected Republicans speaking out against it. We haven't heard much. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, has been relatively quiet on this. Senator John Cornyn did write a letter to the Department of Homeland Security this week, Anderson, urging the agency to listen more closely to the fears and concerns of residents here. But whether or not these things will make a difference, it's hard to say right now.
So just keep making your voice heard, because I don't think I've seen this being talked about enough. What's going on with Big Bend, I don't think I've seen being talked about enough. Yeah, but you said that you, in regards to Brandon Herrera, so he makes a lot of jokes about Nazis on his platform. Don't think that's funny. It's not very funny to me. He also is a son of the Confederacy. That's just racism. So yeah, not thrilled with Brandon Herrera. That's not somebody that I would want to see. I don't have like a small segment. I don't think so. Not usually. I do want to play that video Mia sent me yesterday, the day before, I think. Where did it get sent is going to be the question. I can just search it. I bet I can find it that way. Hold on. We'll do it this way. It is. The last video I want to play is the one Mia sent me. It's a funny to me. funny to me. Yep, there it is. Okay, this is the funny that I'm gonna play because it's funny to me. I enjoy it. While we get set up for a raid, so let's start looking. This is Byron Donalds. Doesn't know how to do the English, and yes, I said it like that on purpose.
We're the reason why people are fleeing New York and California and Illinois, because they are stupid and they needed a place to go, and that place was Florida.
The best part is how pathetic the claps are. Like, listen, I'll translate for him in a minute, because I know what he thinks he was trying to say. It's not what he said, but I just want you to hear how bad the claps were. And then somebody yelled leave, by the way, just in case you didn't hear it.
We're the reason why people are fleeing New York and California and Illinois, because they are stupid and they needed a place to go, and that place was Florida. We're the reason why people
leave. We are the reason why people are fleeing, because they're stupid and they come to California. Now listen. I will... okay, talk about that in a second. I will give it, no, we don't like to translate for them, but I know what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that because of New York Democratic policies, people are fleeing. Now he's saying, which isn't true, he's saying they are stupid. He doesn't mean the people fleeing. He means the Democratic policies. He's saying the people are fleeing because the Democratic policies are stupid and they're coming to Florida. Now, that's what he was trying to say. That's not what he fucking said. And so the spared claps and the leave were hilarious to me. Thank you for this, Natty. We're gonna go to fucking court again, aren't we? We gotta go to fucking court. I'm probably gonna have to paste this into a browser. Let's see. Maybe not. Maybe I'll get lucky. Ooh, is this one of my free articles? Breaking news. Kennedy Center Board reportedly votes to inscribe Trump's name despite court ruling. We're going back to court. The Kennedy Center Board voted to add the Trump inscription at a meeting Thursday, where it also decided to close for renovations, the Times reported. Now, by the way, just in case you didn't know, they ruled that they had to take his name off, right? The same usage of letters as this one. They had to take the letters off. They did. They removed the letters. For those of you who stayed up all night with me and Mia and Ray and all of us, we stayed up all night waiting for the reveal. They put up these tarps so that you can't see that they removed his name. He's such a vain little pussy bitch that they put these tarps up so that you could not see that they removed the name. Oh, I had those phone lines off that entire time. My bad. I don't care, though. And it's been up ever since. They have not taken the tarps down. They haven't taken them down. Now, apparently they have voted to inscribe his fucking name. The board, which Trump filled with allies, had voted last year to add his name to the venue, but a judge ordered the center to remove it because it violated the law that designates the ability to name the center to Congress. The board's resolution reportedly says the inscription is to honor Trump for bringing the center back from the brink of disaster. That's also not true. They are having a lot of issues in regards to the Kennedy Center. Also, at Thursday's meeting, the board voted to proceed with a plan to close the main building for renovations while keeping a smaller building called The Reach open for limited programming and as a memorial for former President John F. Kennedy. Trump has previously pushed for the center to close for renovations, calling it tired, broken, and dilapidated, but a judge blocked the center's decision to close earlier this year, saying it was made based on a one-sided presentation of information without considering its statutory obligations. Forbes reached out to the Kennedy Center for comment. What to watch for? A federal judge ruled in July that the Kennedy Center's Board of Trustees must file a status report informing the court about the center's plans for future construction and operations, as well as the status of the tarp and scaffolding that still cover the building's facade, either by August 20th or within 5 days of the board's August meeting. That would place the deadline at August 18th, 5 days after the board meets. How long? 2 months. 2 months. The tarp has been up for 2 months. We're going back to court. Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Oh, wow. Like, totally freaked me out. I mean, right on. Going back to court. That's what he's worried about. That's what he's working on. That's what he's worried about. Ballroom, military drone ports, Arc de Trump, Kennedy Center. While we're at war with Iran, members of our service are dying, 18 so far. We have reports about service members being on a ship for 250 days without touching port and now not having access to fresh food, wanting to jump ship. Americans can't fill up their gas tanks without worrying about being able to afford food, which they also can't afford because that's going up. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
You forgot the vaccine that's exploding babies.
And the vaccines are exploding the babies. Yeah, hell, you're trying to get me taken down, you son of a bitch. God.
That's what I heard. Like the last thing I heard before you brought me up in Reda Vamoose is exploding babies.
Exploding babies.
Is this a play on my "Why are we drilling babies" shit?
Yeah.
Like I missed something. I still just want to know why we're drilling babies. I didn't really come up to add anything today. I just came up to say words. I'm not sure exactly which words.
Well,
but just remember that if
hi to you, that's fine.
Yeah, that's true too. If you are in Florida, don't vote for James Fishback. James Fishback is a ass out total fucking liar and a weirdo. Just want to remind everybody that he made a claim in order to hide the fact that his running mate for lieutenant governor is a disgraced cop. After he said, he's like, this guy has exemplary service as a cop. He's a disgraced cop. And to kind of butter it up at a news conference, he was like, Byron Donalds is under investigation by the Department of Justice, and they're going to arrest him for sex trafficking. Guess what never came?
Oh, they lied?
Guess what the DOJ said? Yeah. The DOJ was like, I ain't got shit with this. What? Because Byron, like, friendly reminder, the guy that said that people coming to Florida are stupid, which, I mean, yeah, you kind of are, so, just a friendly reminder, that guy is the Trump-endorsed candidate, and like, I thought I remembered in 2024 that Donald J. Trump was elected as the president, and then he was sworn in, and then he has made it clear that he's over the Department of Justice. Todd Blanche made it clear in front of Congress that Trump is his direct boss and he reports directly to Trump. So wouldn't Trump know that Byron Donalds was being investigated for sex trafficking? And I feel like he would put a stop to that or something.
I would think so.
So how would
I have crabs.
Have this information? How would Fishback have that information? I'm just curious. So yeah, if you're voting in your Republican primaries, early voting started on the 10th and last day is the 18th. Don't vote for Donalds. Don't vote for Fishback. What was the other guy's name? There was 4 people that I looked into out of fucking 7 candidates because the last 3 had nothing funny. Vote for the guy whose name starts with a P. Fuck me, I can't remember his name. His only negative thing was Ron DeSantis saying, like, it's dumb to run for governor. To him, that's it. Also, I know we have a deep dive scheduled. I have nothing lined up for that. So if anyone's got something for us to peruse into, I'm down.
Yeah, we'll have to look. Oh, Mia says, I do. Okay. There we go. That'll do it. Danny, I don't know why you are so upset at my husband. You might want to take that up with him since you guys like to DM my husband and not directly speak to me. Maybe you handle that there. All right. Also, actually, on TikTok, I don't know why it's being suppressed. Actually, let me go back to my other account. Let's see if it's on there. My newest video that I posted this morning, I don't know what's going on. Let me see if it's showing or if it's just being a pain in the ass. No, it shows up. So everybody on TikTok, after we get out of here, if you would be so kind as to go on my channel and watch that video, that would be great. I would appreciate it so much. I know it's long.
Well, here's the thing. I came back up. I don't know who dropped me before, but I don't really care. I mean, that's fine. I've dropped her before, so I'm not going to cry about it. But, so don't interrupt me, guys. I have a bone to pick with TikTok because it's not pushing my videos to the FYP. So it's not just you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it literally says that I have 0 views out of 1,600 views from the FYP. 0 from the FYP. Can someone explain that to me? And it took 2 days to get to 1,600 views, but 0 from the FYP.
It's wild.
0. It makes no sense. So it's literally. And Grinny Vinny, you can stay around if you want, but can you at least just use my real name?
Right.
Like just use Ari. Audie was me making fun of somebody that can't say my name. It's you saying Audie is overplayed. Please. Yeah. No, it's fine, Kayla. It gives me a chance to just be like, dude, you don't need to get blocked, but you got to start using my name. It is a little.
Right. Just spell it right. It's fine.
Just use my real name. The joke is overplayed. Yeah. Besides, you're on like your 4th account here, so.
Scuba Steve, yeah, I do need to do a Puerto Rico update. That does need to happen. Actually, Twitch and YouTube, I will be back tomorrow for Friday, 9 a.m., but I'm going to send you guys out of here. I will send you guys to, I don't know.
RTP's not on?
RTP's, no, he's got court stuff on Thursdays.
Ooh, you should see if you can find any lives from the line. Go make them find their Jesus.
What's their
I don't know what show is on The Line. It's literally The Line.
The Line.
I'm already look to see. Make sure volume's off. In my car, because I'm still connected. It's Q&A line is they're at. They're not live, never mind.
Okay. Oh, Jovan's live.
So that's why you can't. Ooh, yeah, send them to Jovan.
Hold on, before you don't end YouTube.
Why?
Have Justin or Eli take out Danny. That's the same Danny from over here.
Oh, it is the same Danny from over there. Yep, you guys get rid of him. Let's see.
Danny Jr. 1786.
She ends from studio.
Yeah,
She can still do it after she ends too.
Hey, bye, creepy Danny.
So YouTube and Twitch, I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you for Friday. You guys go and enjoy Jovan. He's fun. He's great. He's kind of where I started learning how to debate, to be honest. So you guys have fun with that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.